Okay, hello, and welcome to the Funfiltered podcast. I'm once again joined by Jordan.
Hello.
And Samuel.
Hello.
How are we all?
Who are you?
I'm Eddie.
Who are you to
Everyone
ask us that?
Right. If
Who
one
the
of us
fuck are
introduces,
you?
surely it's the same person that's usually with the other two.
We don't, someone could be listening to this for the first time. It's like, who is this mystery man that is just in my life all of a sudden?
Same dickhead that will be in every other episode, probably.
Unreliable narrator. I'm alright. Yeah, pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
How's the sciatica?
Oh, that's, the lasting... It's definitely lasted longer than it ever has before, but it's... I'm basically mobile now. I move about as much as I would anyway, which, to be fair, isn't that much. But
Right.
the lasting kind of damage is that when I put on a pair of pants or a pair of trousers, when I can balance on one leg to lift up the other to slide up one pant, I can't do it with the other leg. I can't put all my weight onto one leg.
Right.
But other than that, they're a zero impediment.
Okay.
I'm currently experiencing a same issue, but because of my knee. So
You got a bad knee?
yeah.
Have you got a bad knee?
From all that running, is it?
I've been running. I ran too far. That's what it was.
Okay.
But yes, it has impeded the ability to stand on one leg while you try and put on clothes.
Right. Okay.
Which it does just create a lovely, pathetic image of me trying to wrestle clothes onto myself while sat on the bed.
Well, I thought you were just going to say it has impeded the ability to stand on one leg, as if a basic right has been stripped from you. I need to be able to stand on one leg.
It's important.
It's important to me.
I do like the mental image. I mean, everyone knows that at the moment we're sort of going through all of Doctor Who, so it's something we'll come to later. But it's in the Waters of Mars, isn't it? After the Doctor does a thing, and the camera zooms in, and he goes, "I've gone too far." I just had that image of you, after you've been running, Eddie, you're just suddenly in the middle of nowhere. You turn around, it's like, "I've gone too far. I've run too far."
Is that reminiscent of your acid trip, George?
Well, that's not staying in.
Why not?
You can't just slide that in. It's not. That's the thing. It's not a casual conversation. So it's not something you can just I'll just put that in as a throwaway,
Yeah,
that becomes the podcast if you're going to bring that up.
George, we have basically admitted, I feel like at this point, that we've all done drugs of some kind at some point.
I don't think we have. I think we've been pretty... We've
joked about the line at least anyway.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But no, I don't think anyone listening would know, they've definitely been
right,
naughty.
Okay, well... Without diving in and making it the podcast, long story short, we all dropped acid. Well, Eddie wasn't with us. Jordan and I dropped acid with some other people, and Jordan thought that he was trapped in a loop. That's the short story.
Yeah, we're just not going to expand on that.
Maybe, okay.
Just going to throw that nugget of tell us more. No.
If the listeners really want that story, they can write in. They can comment and ask for because we will. So leave a comment under the video if you want us to expound on that story at some point, and we will.
We'll just do a drugs heavy episode.
Drugs heavy in the sense that we will be narcotized in the episode.
I mean, we could do that too. I was thinking more we just go full and just talk about taking drugs, but
just talk about taking drugs.
That would be impossible to edit.
If we were on
What
drugs,
would you take out? Yeah,
I think that's what you just got to let that one
if it's
run,
just
right?
the whole recording is just a trip. What
you
the hell
would
can you take out? But also, you can't leave it all in, can you?
But tell you what, even if it's just an entirely self-interested kind of move, it would be interesting to observe the disjunct between the perception and the reality. Because the reality of that audio is just going to be us barely speaking to each other.
That's the thing. It's going to be utter nonsense.
Yeah, just starting sentences and then losing the train of thought. And maybe there'd be one gem in there that, oh man, that was a psychedelic kind of, utterance. But other than that...
Are either of you familiar with Goop?
Goop.
No.
Goop.
The Gwyneth Paltrow beauty snake oil, whatever it is.
No.
No, what a video.
Well, no, it's this company she's got. It's this beauty health company.
I'm familiar with Goop.
Yeah. It recently got its own Netflix series. I don't know if either of you are familiar with that.
Right. No.
I say recently. This was back in January. I only know about it because other people on YouTube have covered it.
Okay.
But the first episode of that is, I think the premise of the series, I think it's called the Goop-la with Gwyneth Paltrow. That's the name of the series. It's 6 episodes long. The premise is they're basically on the hunt for these useful alternative health techniques.
Right.
I think that's the idea. There's an episode with what's his name? There's this Dutch guy who like submerges himself in cold water.
Right.
I don't know if either of you are familiar with him.
No.
He sounds like a dumb prick, I'm not going to lie. That sounds right.
Is he perennially erect?
No, it would have the opposite effect, surely.
No, that's what I mean. So, like, he has to keep submerging himself in
I see.
ice cold
Okay.
water.
I don't know.
Okay. No, didn't they recently release, like, a patently absurd product?
Oh, well,
Goop?
most of
like
them are. There was...
No, but I mean, like, it smelled, it was like vagina scented, right?
yeah, I think they've got vagina-scented products.
Yeah.
definitely,
What? What
Yeah,
the
they
fuck
got-
is it? Sorry,
got
Goop
pussy
vagina
perfume.
scent.
Yeah. So what is the scent of Paltrow's pussy? Is it like Parmalayet or something? Because it's not going to be like a meaty, cheesy stench, is it? She's bound to have somehow fabricated some
it's
bullshit
like,
about
fishy tunery. Like, it's not going to be that, is it?
it smells like a meadow or some crap like that.
Geranium, citrusy, bergamot, and cedar absolutes juxtaposed with damask rose and ambrette seed or ambretta seed.
Seed her. Okay. Right. So back to
Well, no, I was going to say the reason I brought that up is because the first episode, her crew, she has like a bunch of people who work for the company. They all go to Jamaica and just do magic mushrooms
right
because apparently that's healthy. I don't know.
for inspiration.
No, just like to see if it makes them healthy or something.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't seen the actual episode. I've only seen the coverage.
When you say they go to Jamaica to do magic mushrooms to see if it makes them healthy, are they going to Jamaica to sample gastronomically mushrooms that improve your health, or are they dropping?
No, they're
magic mushrooms.
psilocybin.
Okay.
Yeah.
You really don't have to go to Jamaica for magic mushrooms.
No.
You don't, but if you're making a TV show in which everyone is dropping magic mushrooms, there might be, I don't know how you get permissions for that in, like, Planetly or wherever.
Well, I don't know. Like Vice do those documentaries where they get people to drop acid and just go to like monster truck
They do.
rallies
That was the other one, yeah. But the reason I brought up the Gwyneth Paltrow one is because I think just because virtue of like the program, I was skeptical about whether they were even doing it. It's gonna be like, oh no, there's gonna be like, they're just gonna be like, oh, some weird man. It's gonna be that typical, people who've clearly never done drugs in their life depicting themselves taking drugs.
Right.
Where they smoke weed and they act as though they're like on cocaine or they're really drunk or something.
Yeah.
But no, they focus on this one guy who's like lying on the ground, like, really like curled up and like crying. And he's like, I feel like I'm the light at the center of the circle.
Okay.
And that I was like, okay, maybe he is actually on drugs.
Right.
That's something someone who's taken psilocybin would definitely say.
I don't know why, but I really feel like I might just buy you the candle for your birthday, Jord. So you're gonna that can be your birthday
Is it a
present this
candle,
year.
a
It's just-
pussy-scented candle?
Yeah.
Oh, right, we jump back to that. I see what's happened now. Like, there's magic mushrooms candles.
I thought it was perfume. No, so it's candles.
There's a candle.
Right, okay.
So there's wax that smells like her pussy.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, on that note,
I've been doing alright.
Yeah.
I've left Facebook.
Yep.
Okay.
Personally, I've left Facebook as opposed to professionally. Yeah. No, I just I've been thinking about it a lot. It was a fairly impulsive decision, and I think it's easy to kind of rationalize, I did it because it's this simulation of communion and the sense that I actually know these people that I haven't seen in years or months. It's just a completely artificial feeling. But I think the truth of it is it's a personal restriction. I don't want the temptation of the dopamine hit of putting something out there and it getting likes. So it's more for my own benefit in the sense of, I mean, I am fairly indifferent to what people post on it because, Facebook now is mainly just memes and, well, pictures. I when you see an actual written post, like, oh my God, someone's written something.
Yeah.
But that is vacuous and terrible. But it is more just, I don't want to be someone who posts on Facebook because I do put at least a fraction of thought into the things I write. And it's a fraction that's wasted,
Right.
It should go elsewhere because no one cares, nor should they. I don't care about them. So let's just call it quits.
I'll say, following on from when you obviously we talked about you leaving Facebook at the weekend when we sort of had a chat together, and following on from that, I did eventually get rid of Snapchat.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't really use it, and I did cull my Facebook friends list
You're like
again.
one of the 4 people I had on Snapchat. And now I've only got like 3 people left.
Well, the thing is, I didn't tell anyone. I just like got rid of it. And then the two people I spend most of my time talking to on Snapchat both like messaged me, one on Facebook, one on Instagram, and was just like, "Have you deleted me off Snapchat?" I was like, "No, I just got rid of it." Like, I thought so.
That's the question, Sam. How many people noticed that you departed from Facebook?
Well, to my knowledge, that have kind of flagged up their awareness, like 2.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh yeah, I should point out, I haven't deleted my account. I've unfriended everybody and unfollowed everything, so there's just nothing there, you know. But again, the fact that like just using words like it just doesn't matter, does it? It just does. Facebook has become such an integral part of life, and I'm not denying that. I'm not trying to say, oh, none of us need this thing. Obviously, it's important for communication. Like it's how people communicate now, and you're being sort of. I think it's a stage too far to completely distance yourself from it. Because you're being too idealist. You're just ignoring the reality that it's
there's a limit, isn't it? Like going completely cold turkey, going completely cold turkey, and just like, oh yes, I don't message, I don't have an account, I am one of the good ones. It's
well,
like,
that feels like posturing more than anything else, doesn't it? Of like, I'm going to make a show.
Also, that it also doesn't help that those people who don't have Facebook are always thoroughly unlikable because they think that not having Facebook is like, I'm a better person. You should delete your Facebook too because you'll be a better person too.
Yeah, it's that thing of not having Facebook is a personality. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone needs to have a healthy relationship with it. I'm not saying that like, oh, eat the slop, you pigs. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, if for you, if like getting rid of it entirely is your way of having a healthy relationship with it, that is to say getting rid of the account rather than the messaging service, then, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's good to practice sort of having a healthy relationship with it. Like I keep it open on my phone in case somebody messages me, but I always make an effort of like, I won't look at my timeline. I'll look at it maybe once just to see if there's anything worth seeing.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, I still reflexively occasionally open my phone and click on the timeline to see what's happened. And obviously there's nothing there. And that's happening less and less because I'm educating myself out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not evangelizing. I'm not saying everybody should unfriend everybody. I'm not saying that at all. I just think it's purely an individual thing. And I don't think that I had like a deeply unhealthy relationship with it. I wasn't seeking approval constantly. I wasn't posting narcissistic images of myself or kind of anything like that. It was more just, what I would evangelize about is, well, an examined life, right? So like, because you just take these things as a given. Why don't you actually think about what it means to be on Facebook and to what degree and all these different things? Because it's thoughts like, I feel fairly abreast of the developments of people's lives and following pregnancies and engagements and all these things. And while it's kind of nice to sort of see that people of whom you're fond are prospering in different ways, it's more just, but I don't know these people. I don't know these people. You know what I mean? I don't. It is artificial in that sense. And we were talking about this, me and Eddie, about how like it started with obviously you had to see people to talk to them, then phone calls, and then emails were a big thing at one point, then texting, and now it's like, and I'm not the first person to make this point, it's sort of like an imposition if you call somebody. It's like, why are they phoning me? It's like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a whole like catalog of memes, isn't there, about like the anxiety people get whenever their phone rings.
Yeah.
What's the Ozzy Osbourne one?
I don't know.
It's like phone rings and then it's a picture of Ozzy Osbourne going, "What the fuck is that?" You know?
Yeah, it's like you've got to carve out an appointment if you want to call somebody.
I had a friend, a guy that I sort of like after university, I sort of worked with him for a little bit on like short films and stuff, and he would always call me.
Yeah.
And I was always like. Not because I didn't want to speak to him, at least, initially. It was just the fact that, like, right, I know this phone call is going to last, like, 2 or 3 hours. I know a lot of this is just going to be him going, oh, so this happened. Like, okay.
Yeah, I don't...
What do I really say to this?
And again, I'm not going 100% Luddite again and saying we need to get back to a point where we have to go see each other to talk, though that would be nice. It's more just, it's being broken down bit by bit. All the time. Like Snapchat is just pictures. And
pictures that you don't even get to keep.
Yeah. I really don't want to be one of those people that's saying, oh, these kids and their devices, because I think there is some benefit. But I think again, just some self-examination if there's no cost. Like we've got to preserve something here, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the kind of purity of communication. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of phone calls that go on for two. Like they irritate me as well, like 2-3 hours. I don't like hangout phone calls where it's like there is zero purpose to the call. And though, you know, I'm grateful for the blah blah.
Yeah, you sound it, Sam.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, it's kind of not, like I'll be with people and they're trying to figure out something not urgent, but that has a time imperative to it of like, oh, we got to figure out when we're going to meet them. We're supposed to meet in 2 minutes and I don't know where they are. We're going to message them. It's like, they have to see that they're probably walking. They have to see they've had a message on Facebook, open it, then type their own, just call them. It's just, you know, it's like instant thing. So things like that bug me when the easiest thing for all parties would be just to have an actual conversation.
I don't know. I think we've talked about this before as well. I don't know whether it was on the podcast or not, but like if technology like stopped in the 90s, like we had it was as efficient as it was today, but if like it just stayed where it was in the 90s, like you had to, if you wanted to speak to someone, you had to call them on the phone, or if you wanted to, you know, video games kind of, they stopped all this kind of like nonsense of like online play that you have to pay for, and like it's nice to have games like Doom Eternal and Bloodborne, but like the games you had like on the PS2 was definitely the highlight of gaming. I don't think gaming will ever be as good as it was during the PS2 era.
No.
And yeah, there was just less, like social media didn't exist in the 90s. There was just less nonsense, you know? Yeah,
I mean, like, you know, the grass is always greener back when sort of thing. And we were born in I mean, we don't really have memories, substantive memories of the 90s, obviously, but as an idea, you know, there's that Supersonic, you know, the documentary Supersonic, where, I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast, where, you know, they gig at, was it Nebworth? That had,
I think so, yeah.
However many hundreds of thousands of people, and like a fairly large percentage of the British population applied for tickets to that. The point is made in that documentary about, well, this just won't happen again. It can't happen again, you know?
Yeah.
And that is a shame. Again, social media's had some benefits, and I don't want to deny that, like revolutions in the Arab world.
Yeah.
The Arab Spring is like as a function of Twitter, essentially. Things like that are great, but overall, I think the net loss is significantly larger than the net benefit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this podcast we're recording now wouldn't have been possible in the 90s or early 2000s. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't have been so like, oh, it was better, we should go back to that.
No,
I think what I want is kind of the option, you know?
Yeah.
It's like technology is great nowadays in that it's so efficient and cheap, and we're able to do things like, you know, record a podcast and then just release it online and the world can see it. And the world isn't seeing it, granted, but
they can hear it.
Yeah, the world can hear it.
Yeah.
Well, they're not even listening to it at the moment.
Oh, the world, no. No.
Or anyone in it. But I think what I miss is, or what I would like is sort of the option to kind of
disconnect.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like that's really an option anymore. Not that I'm not saying that, like, oh, you know, it's not one of those things of like, oh, I would stop using technology, but I can't. So, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously I can, but the world doesn't disconnect anymore.
No.
And it'd be nice to still see instances of that kind of happening. You know, that kind of culture, again, in the culture of the 90s where it wasn't just constantly like, oh, we're all connected and we're all constantly paying for things and we're all constantly like, you know.
And obviously, one of the benefits is, as you say, the ability to cheaply produce and disseminate a podcast.
Yeah.
You know, the existence of podcasts. But at the same time, as we've talked about before, fewer people would have the opportunity to think that they had talents worth offering. There'd be much fewer people trying to be filmmakers and, you know, making shit films. You just, because it was harder.
Yeah.
You know? Well, not harder. Yeah, I guess it was. It was definitely hard to get your stuff out there, but you had to really want it to, you know, to become something in that field.
Yeah.
You know, there existed the possibility of you're a band and you play at this club one night and an agent spots you and you sign. That's exactly what happened to Oasis, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, if you watch footage of that gig, it's not the greatest gig in the world. It's like, it's all right.
Yeah.
They're just like any other band, but they got signed. They became... You can't do that anymore because you have to be putting your shit for free on Spotify. And,
someone is more
SoundCloud
likely to get discovered because they put their content on YouTube than any other way now.
Yeah, but
isn't that how
Bieber?
Yeah, Bieber is the big one.
Bieber, that happened to, what's Childish Gambino's name? Can't remember his fucking name.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, yeah, that happened to Donald Glover as well, I think.
What, YouTube?
I think so, yeah.
Well, there's quite a few. Like,
Oh, I don't know. Just very because Donald Glover was he was a writer on 30 Rock.
Yeah.
And then he was an actor in Community. And then I feel like his musical career really took off.
Okay, I'm pretty sure there's like, you can find videos of him on YouTube when he, clearly before he's famous, like with a guitar singing and stuff.
Okay, all right. But okay, fair enough. But I don't think he was like discovered on YouTube, if you know what I mean.
Right, okay. Well, then Bo Burnham, maybe. That would be a
Yes,
better
Bo
example.
Burnham. Yeah, absolutely.
Like a stand-up comedian who's just come from the internet. He's had no... I think he said before in interviews, isn't he? He didn't do the clubs and he didn't do the free gigs and the dive bars and stuff, and that sort of a lot of people resent him for that. Well, he seems to have just come in famous.
Well, he says, doesn't he? He feels like he's kind of an imposter. Like there's a kind of an imposter syndrome where you haven't earned it because you haven't had those sweaty, beer-stained, experiences. Ricky Gervais has said the same thing. Obviously, he found fame a lot later, but he went from The Office into being a professional stand-up selling out arenas, and he said that he feels like he hasn't earned it in a way because there wasn't that grind,
Yeah. No, but I mean, yeah, I can completely understand that. And when the grind is sort of considered the quote-unquote official way of getting into that business, then yeah, you can absolutely feel that. The thing with Bo Burnham, though, is that he released his content online to probably lots and lots of criticism and critical comments and people being like, oh, you suck, and the sheer quantity of that. Whereas with Ricky Gervais, he made a TV show.
Yeah.
A TV show that was, I don't know if it was one of the first of its kind, but it was certainly a revolutionary in its genre. Mm-hmm. Were there mockumentaries before The Office came along?
Oh yeah, like Spinal Tap and stuff. But I feel like The Office came along...
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. The most famous one.
No, but like The Office came along in the age of... So in the early noughties, there was a raft of shows about like people who worked in airports and things like that, and they were making celebrities of quote-unquote normal people.
Yeah.
Obviously, this was before X Factor, maybe before American Idol, I think it was.
2001?
Yeah, The Office 2001, maybe the same year. But yes, so it came along at like the perfect time, basically.
Yeah. So they have earned it. They've just earned it in different ways.
Yeah. Obviously, I would say that if you're a stand-up comedian, that idea of making your way through the kind of the seedy dive bars and getting glasses thrown at you and stuff like that, I think that's this is just a personal thing, a more respectable way of doing it. I like that kind of journeyman. You travel the country in a car and you survive on shit food.
Yeah, but you can point to that and go, oh, that's a struggle. You struggled to get where you are. Whereas with Bo Burnham, when he says like, oh, there are all these like terrible, hateful, like disgusting comments that I was getting, like someone can just dismissively go, oh, just don't read them then.
Yeah.
Even though that's in order to engage with your audience, you have to see what your audience is saying.
Yeah,
so you have to explore
it's
those
not
comments.
equivalent, is it? I don't think it's equivalent. Like
no, but I don't think it's any lesser either. I don't think it's like
I think it is. I think it is because I don't think it's. He's probably in terms of quantity received much more abuse than you're gonna get in a bar or whatever.
Oh yeah,
but it just is less. It means less. It's there's less weight to it. If there's a snarky comment on a YouTube video, genuinely, who gives a fuck? If you're in a club and you're playing to people who just are staring at you stony-faced, not laughing, or getting angry and throwing shit at you and calling names at you, that is an empirically like worst experience.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's significantly less human endeavor.
Yeah, I would say just circling back to The Office. Was that the first like big UK show that the Americans remade?
No, there were plenty of British sitcoms were remade in like the 80s and the 70s. A lot of kind of quintessential American sitcoms are based on British sitcoms.
What I was going to say, in terms of remake, then the big like success, because obviously The Office USA is a roaring success.
Hands down, it's probably the biggest kind of international hit. Yeah, and it probably made way for loads more doing that, but. Like Sanford and Son, which is a golden era of American comedy sitcom that's based on Steptoe and Son.
Oh, okay.
There's plenty like that in the 80s, and then we started doing it. We started remaking American comedies, but I think ours are always worse. Like every time. A lot of the time theirs are, but
I would say nothing is going to beat how bad the In-Betweeners USA is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that is so horrific on like a whole nother level.
I couldn't even bring myself to watch it.
I mean,
I'm not the biggest fan of the In-Betweeners anyway, but just like the idea, like how I genuinely don't understand how you can translate the In-Betweeners to an American audience.
Well, they made Jay fat.
Yeah, that didn't help. No, but I mean, like, it's not that, like, oh, like, horny teenage boys is something that America doesn't have. It's just, like, the trappings of that show. It feels so British, you know?
But America had their own kind of version in films, in American Pie.
Yeah, they've done it.
That was your awkward, like, young person thing.
That's very true, actually. Yeah. Maybe a well localized version of The Inbetweeners is basically just an inferior American Pie, or like a typical American Pie ripoff, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem is that the Americans. I don't mean for this to be a sweeping statement, because there's tons of American comedy shows that I love. But okay, when you're thinking, right, we're going to remake The Inbetweeners, because I think it was MTV or something that remade it as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
When you remake The Inbetweeners in America, or Gavin and Stacey as they were going to do,
That was bad
like-
too.
Yeah, how the hell do you remake Gavin and Stacey?
that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? It's just you get
They called it Stacey and Gavin.
No, I mean, like, that's the case if you get someone from, like, the South and someone from New York, you know, obviously it's...
No,
America's
I mean, yeah, that's
bigger,
the obvious
so-
thing you do, but it's more like, what sort of places in America have a relationship that's sort of comparable to England and Wales, you know? It's not just, oh, look at the English, now look at the Welsh and laugh. It's the almost tension between the two. It's like it's not quite Romeo and Juliet, because they all basically get on. But it is that kind of starting point, isn't it? These two families from very different walks of life. That,
Yeah.
you know, there's a bit of an uneasy history there.
No. I mean, I don't think... I mean, look, let's face it. For the most part, that is just that's a punchline rivalry, right? It's not a genuine... It's not India and Pakistan. It's not...
Oh, no, it's a very
a
like,
playful...
almost passive-aggressive rivalry,
Yeah, it's
you
a
know?
play... Obviously, historically not so, but it's a playful, oh, we want to beat each other at the rugby sort of relationship.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, there are jokes in Gavin and Stacey that spring from that kind of, when Pam says you leak munching sheep shagger or whatever. But that's not like, oh my God, a Welsh girl and an English boy. That's not really at the heart of the show. It's more just the fact that these families, you know, there's a distance and they know nothing about each other's families. So it's more about the fish out of water thing, I would say. And then the families have to meet each other. The fact it's all happening so quickly. But the point I was going to make is that if you're remaking those shows for an American audience, surely basically the only motivation is financial.
Yeah.
In which case, yeah, like The Inbetweeners in an American context, it doesn't work. Because, yeah, you can do those the horny geek boy thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just has a different feel. You can't translate the feel of that to America, because the way their school system works is different to the way our school system works. Like, going to a comp is just a fundamentally different experience to going to a high school. Because we're shitter. We just are shitter. It's all smaller. We don't get the... I think like Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, when they made Cemetery Junction, the big motivation behind that was, we don't have like a Bruce Springsteen. We don't have... These teenagers want to bust out of this town, this coming of age thing. We don't really have that, because when you go for a road trip in England, you end up in, you know, Nottingham or whatever. You end up just nowhere. It's all just the same, just kind of bleak and grey. And whereas America, you've got the Rockies and you've got deserts. And,
there's a whole... it's sort of like Red Dead, isn't it? I know it's far more condensed in Red Dead, but you have like snowy mountains and open plains and like lush forestry and all these different environments, whereas in Wales and England, and it's mostly just kind of like, yeah, it's a bit grassy.
Yeah, and
there's some factories over there, you know, that's basically it.
And it's you know, it's that thing like the American over here are ball, you know, or as it may now be called prom, you know, or discos.
Yeah,
they're always shit because they're in these little assembly halls, and it just reminds you of like a village fete where a bouncy castle should be, and the teachers are just standing at the side, and it's all awkward. In America, they've got prom. You know, it's like a deal. You've got prom king and prom queen. Parochial doesn't quite work the same way in American.
Also, there's no threats, because like when Americans finish high school, they're still too young to drink.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, we're rule breakers. We're gonna like party. We're gonna, you know, fuck the man. Whereas in Britain, by the time you finish school, most people are of legal drinking age anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just like you've already
Or at least they've been down the pub anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you start drinking when you're like 14 in Britain anyway. So, you know.
Yeah.
By the time you get to prom, it's like, oh yeah, drinking. Of course I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Any attempt at a prom over here is generally speaking horrific.
Where did you have your prom? Did you have a prom?
Well, our school had a prom, but you had set rules of like what you had to like do in order to go. And I did not follow those rules, so I was not allowed to go. But also, like,
you're like the
over
person
here,
who's like the least likely to be like banned from his prom. What the hell were you doing?
I can't even remember, but it was like there were dumb rules. But the whole point was it would stop the school dickheads basically from going, so you'd only get the nice people that went. But some of those school dickheads then made an effort, and I definitely didn't. So yeah, I wasn't allowed to go. So everyone else, you know, went off and did their thing, and I sat at home watching TV instead.
Right.
But also, like, when it comes to a UK version of a prom, like the prom king, the prom queen kind of thing. Well, like in America, being a jock is like quite a cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much in a school over here. Like, you're just kind of the arsehole of the school.
Yeah.
That's another thing as well. We don't have the same hierarchy in British schools as we do in Americans. We definitely have cliques.
Yeah.
And there's definitely like, there's that type of group and there's that type of group. But like, I think we've said before, Sam, we were part of like the, I guess, in-betweeny group.
Yeah.
Like we were sort of like the outsiders, if you will, by American standards at least. And we were by far the biggest group in the school.
Yeah. I mean, we were definitionally the in-betweeners, and we weren't at the top of the pecking order, but we weren't. There's always like 3 or 4 in every year, isn't there? That are like, you know, a special, let's say.
Yeah.
We weren't, and we weren't those. We were like, the outsiders slash nerd slash. I was never emo. You were never emo, but portions of that group were.
The emos were in there.
Just like every kind of outsider, but our school, you know, it. Like you said, the dickheads like made an effort because they weren't allowed to go to prom. By the time we got to our prom, we didn't have any dickheads left. Like ours was a weirdly cordial kind of pursuit, really, wasn't it? By the end of school for us.
Oh.
But yeah, like those things, there are ways of doing it. You know, like The Office. I'm a much bigger fan of the UK version, but I do like the American one quite a lot. And Gervais and Merchant were right when they said, "We will help you make the pilot, but after that, we are stepping away because." We don't know what the minutiae of working in an American office. Different rules, different systems, you know, different interpersonal relationships. So you take it and run with it. And they did an American version of it.
Yeah.
The British version of The Office is about this kind of horrible man, really, that wants to be famous, but he's got a heart. The American one, you like everyone in that show, you know, because the main character is a guy that wants to be liked.
That's one of the smart things as well. They didn't field like what they did with the American Office, from what I understand, as you say, with David Brent, which is Ricky Gervais in The Office. His whole thing is he wants to be famous, and he's like using the documentary that they're filming as a way to achieve that.
Yeah.
So he's constantly trying to be funny, and it's falling flat. And you can tell he's kind of like not taking advantage of his staff members, but he's sort of like using them as an opportunity to generate this humor, which is just fundamentally unfunny.
Yeah.
Whereas in the American Office, I don't know who's the name of the character Steve Carell plays, but he's the boss,
yeah,
right?
Michael Scott.
He's the equivalent to David Brent. Michael Scott, yeah. Yeah, Michael Scott doesn't want to be famous. He wants to be liked.
Yes.
The humor is coming from the same place in that it's, the boss is being awkward and he's trying to be funny, but it's not quite working. But what informs that character is completely different. And that's one of the things that I think that's more palatable to American audiences, which is why it's it took off as much as it did.
Yeah, 100%. And it's in the performance as well. I mean, the fact of, and just the look of it, you know, the UK offer, it looks shit.
Oh, it looks so
like
grim, doesn't it?
Grim, and rightly so. That, you know, that's how it should look. And it, like the opening titles of just Slough, and it's got this music under it that's great, but it's just roundabouts and then this horrible Thatcherite building, you know?
Concrete block of a building.
And it's horrible. And in the American one, like, I think in the British one, the company they work for is Wernham Hogg, right? in the American one, it's Dunder Mifflin. It's quirky, it's kooky, it's Dunder Mifflin. You know, it sounds fluffy.
Yeah.
Ours sounds like a pig. And then you've got Michael Scott as Steve Carell, who's just eminently likable and just is just very. He's a gibbon, you know, a clown.
Yeah.
But he's soft you know. Whereas David Brent is spiky and he's kind of a bit of a lech and he's fat and he's got that horrible little beard and he just looks like you wouldn't want to be in his company, you know.
Yeah.
That's why ours is better.
Well, to us, I don't think. Not that I know many Americans, but I'm talking more on like online and stuff. I haven't seen many people who are from America saying that they think the British office is superior.
I think most British people think the American one is superior.
Yeah.
They're wrong.
Well, this is definitely a conversation we've had before. We had it kind of in the episode we kind of reviewing the Sonic movie.
Right.
We were talking about like how humor, or at least popular humor, is being Americanized.
Yeah.
You know, every film does that sort of American humor thing where it's sort of like, you know, it's clearly improvised and it's like, oh, you're just like a poopy pancake. It's all that kind of shit.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that is like people's taste in humor is sort of aligning more with that kind of common American
glib
improv-y humor almost.
Have either of you two seen the American version of Gavin and Stacey?
No.
Okay, it's called Us and Them.
Yes.
At like some point, it's really bad. I feel like at some point it might be as like an exercise in like something. We should like try and watch the series and just like talk about it because it is really bad what they've done.
I don't know.
Is it like South Carolina and New Jersey or something? Is that the?
It's Pennsylvania and New York.
Oh right. I feel like because I was following that when they initially announced it back like over a decade ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like at the time they were thinking of doing a southern versus like East Coast sort of thing.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania and New York is not.
Yeah,
if you're
gonna do that, you got to go big with it. Like you got to do California and New York, or you've got to do like Texas and Washington or something. Like completely opposing. You know.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm sure like in America there are interstate rivalries that we just aren't in our orbit, so we just have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the surface, Pennsylvania and they're both New England. They're both you know, this city. So I mean, go for the deep south and Vermont.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, my reason for suggesting watching it is purely for the fact that it was initially announced as a 13-episode series. It got cut to 7.
Right.
Then Fox went, actually, we're not going to air this at all. And so it took until 2018, and I think it came out on Sony Crackle in the end. Right. So like it came out on like a subdivision of a subdivision of a company in order to actually get it out. And then after those 7 episodes done, they were like, yeah.
Have either of you seen the pilot for the US version of the IT Crowd?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
That's rough.
No,
that's rough.
That's fucking.
I was saying, I bet that's bad.
Yeah.
Well, they just do. It's the same script, I think.
Yeah, it's exactly the same pilot episode, but it's like filmed slightly differently, and a couple of the gags are changed. But it's fundamentally the same script. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember Graham Linehan saying, that he'd gone over there for weeks or maybe even months to work on the script with them.
Yeah.
And then they sent him home, and at the end of it, just said, "Oh, we're just going to use the original script." Yeah, that's bad. The thick of it, they tried to do a pilot on ABC.
Right.
Obviously, that failed, but then the makers went on to create Veep, which is really good.
Yes. I mean, the US IT Crowds, that has what's his name? Joe McHale, right?
Yeah.
He plays Roy.
Yeah.
You can't replace Chris O'Dowd with Joe McHale and expect it to be the same character, you know?
Yeah, no. Those two shouldn't be up for the same roles.
No, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. Like, they swapped out Chris O'Dowd with Joe McHale. I don't know. I can't remember who plays Denham Renham. But
no.
if it's not Chris Evans, what's he called? Chris Morris.
Yeah.
If it's not Chris Morris, then it's miscast.
Absolutely.
And the woman is just a woman. I know Jen is kind of just a woman, but even that feels off, you know? But Moss is played by Richard Ayoade.
I find that bizarre. It just seems like exactly the kind of thing he wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Like he's got enough integrity to not go and make a cheap remake of the IT Crowd, but he did it. I just find that
also,
really
of all the characters in that show, Moss is the one they were like, yes, Americans will like that.
Well, because he's in what's the terrible film he's in?
The Neighborhood Watch or something?
Yeah, The Watch or something like that.
The Watch, yeah, I think.
Yeah. With Ben Stiller, because I think Ben Stiller produced Submarine. And
yes, which is his directorial debut.
Yes.
Debut? Debut. Richard Ayoade's directorial debut.
I think that, I like Rich Dioadi a lot, and I admire him. I think he's got a lot of integrity, and so I can only think that he did those things so he'd have the money to make his own film.
Right.
In which case, okay. But yeah, it does seem like if you're gonna do an American one, actually get Nick Offerman to play Denham Renham. If you're gonna recast American.
Yeah.
He was played by Rocky Carroll.
Oh, a black gentleman.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
I remember. Yeah, no, didn't work.
No.
Right. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Whatever that was, yeah.
Yeah, well, Boris Johnson's been in and out of hospital, hasn't he?
Yep.
Have you seen all these people who are like, oh, you never had it? He clearly just wanted a week off work.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it convenient that Boris Johnson was discharged from hospital on Easter Sunday?
I've seen it said that it was kind of a move to make him look like a hard man. Of like, look, he's one of us, he caught it, but also he beat it. He's, he's a titan.
I'll see.
I've seen a whole bunch of things.
I'd heard that it was being faked that he had it, so that people would, if he like went into like the intensive, because he also went into like ICU and stuff.
Yeah.
If he went into intensive care, people would be like, oh shit, like if Boris dies, fuck, like we're still going out. This is the guy trying to sort it out for us.
Right.
He's got it. And then also they were just like, oh yeah, no, he's fine now. It's like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to say, because obviously a lot of people have said tacitly wished for his death. Is that fair to say?
Tacitly?
I think
if he
some
went
explicitly through
explicitly.
Twitter at all for the last 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think there would be the mention of his death every 5 tweets or so.
Yeah. I'll just say, if you wished privately or publicly that you want him dead, or you're trying to justify it or caveat it or anything other than I hope that he gets better, you're a waste of skin. I just want to get that out. And I mean, I use that phrase deliberately because that's all you are. There's nothing beyond you if you think something like that. You're just flesh with no heart.
You're not even
no
bones.
blood.
You're just skin.
Whether you like him,
Yes.
like him or not, the government or not, for crying out loud, he was very clearly very ill.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, short of a dictator or a serial killer or serial rapist, just how about we don't wish death on anyone? I wouldn't wish death on my political, opposites. Just
Just my closest friends.
Yeah, exactly. How, and I mean this in a non-retarded sense, how retarded has a social discourse become when that's just like acceptable now on some level? Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah.
Was there anything else about the big C? Well, it is the big C now, isn't it? I suppose it is the biggest C currently. It's bigger C than the big C. So
yeah, just the nice little tidbit. I think it's the state of Louisiana. They have a 9 p.m. curfew.
Okay.
Is
coronavirus nocturnal?
Well, no. It was to keep people in their houses after 9 p.m. basically, and they were using a alarm to announce the curfew.
Right.
And they were using the siren from The Purge and had no idea.
Okay.
I love it.
So yeah,
I like how sort of prescriptively apocalyptic it is almost in a lot of places. Like I think we talked about it last one, like that drone that was telling people like remember to keep your social
New York.
distance.
Yeah,
this is New York drone. There's that, and then sirens like. Every cliche is just coming true, and you'd think there'd be I'd be somewhat reluctant if I was a political leader of these. Like, it looks a bit like Mad Max, or it looks a bit, like,
I just thought though, but like in America, you're getting that. What do we get over here? We've got a Dalek going, someone with a remote control Dalek going through the streets.
What's a Dalek? What's this?
Yeah, so there was a remote control Dalek that was going through the streets, basically being like, human beings will be exterminated. Stay indoors.
What?
Like,
oh yeah, this wasn't
like
this wasn't official government stuff, Sam. I think this was just the guy.
No, I know that. But what's the thinking there? Is a Dalek meant to be comforting?
Well,
no, it's the threat, isn't it?
But
You'll be exterminated
so
if you
British.
leave your home.
Yeah, but it's such a British thing of how can we do this? Oh, we'll play on a really British TV, like a show which is quintessentially British half the time. And just be like, here's a real life Dalek, because that's what we would do.
Okay.
All
right.
There's also the have you seen the letters that are being sent out by the government that have the same font as Cards Against Humanity?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was the same font.
Yeah. There's like pictures on, well, all over social media. People are, at the beginning I was like, oh, social media, like you need to exercise like a healthy relationship with it. And all of the shit that I've just seen on social media that I'm now regurgitating in this podcast, it's completely undermining my original point. But yeah, people are taking cards from Cards Against Humanity and sort of putting them amongst the sentence. It's like, this is a warning from the government about bees or whatever it was, Okay. There's a warning from the government about Tories stepping on kittens, that kind of shit.
I'll say, obviously, I assume you've obviously both had that letter from number 10.
Yeah, well, it seems like, I think I pretty much knew everything that's in that letter. There doesn't seem to be any new information in it.
Yeah. Well, my mate won't mind me talking about this. My mate has basically decided that he hasn't opened the letter because he's decided that years down the line, because this will be an historical event that we talk about,
he's going to sell it on eBay, isn't he?
He's going to sell it on eBay because he's going to need the money, and he thinks it's going to be worth a few bob. And I was just like, that might maybe fetch you a packet of cigarettes, but I don't think it's going to get you anything more than that.
I haven't had this letter. What's this letter?
Basically just a letter from
It's a letter
Boris.
from number 10, basically just talking to you about the coronavirus and telling you to stay at home.
There's a leaflet in there on coronavirus, and there's a letter saying, hey, maybe you should read this leaflet and like not leave the house like we fucking asked for,
right?
Yeah.
I liked the fact that in Wales you did get both the English and the Welsh version.
Yes.
I liked that little
Do you think
touch.
Boris was responsible for that as well? Or were they just like siphoning off the letters from the Welsh Postal Service? And like
I guarantee they just put it on Google Translate.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you put it through Google Translate and it's just gibberish. It doesn't fucking mean anything.
Yeah, the Welsh version actually just says go outside and play. Just like
Mynd allan a chwarae, if you're interested. That's what the Welsh for that would be.
What was it?
Mynd allan a chwarae.
Right,
read the
okay.
letter.
Go outside and play. Alright, should we talk about Louis C.K.?
Yeah.
He's back.
He's back. So yeah, he's released through his website a new stand-up special called Sincerely Louis C.K.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's his first since all that hoopla.
It's his first special, right? He's done like gigs and sets and stuff here and there.
It's his first filmed special.
Yeah.
What do you think of it, guys?
Well, in fairness to him, I didn't know how he was going to approach it. Like as a comedian, your impulse is to, this is like rife in terms of material. This is rife for like discussion. But also just like as an individual, it's like, okay, that was like a really trying time in my life. I don't really want to, go through that and sort of bring it back to people's attention on stage. But he does, in fairness to him, he does address it and he does sort of play with it a little bit. And that was quite nice.
It would be
seeing him do that.
A comedian, right, is supposed to tell the truth. That's the idea, right? Not exclusively. Obviously, there could be surreal comedians, blah blah blah, can hedge it and caveat it. But it would be really strange if he came out and didn't address it at all.
Yeah,
I would have understood it.
When I say address it, I mean like he does a bit on it. He does like he dedicates like a decent amount of time to discussing it.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing. Yeah.
At the beginning, just going like, oh yeah, so that happened. Let's carry on as usual now.
Yeah, no, it would have been strange had he not gone into it. I mean, I really like it. I think it's a really good special. Not least because it's dealt with exactly the right amount, I think.
Yeah.
He sort of opens with it. He circles back to it with a little bit more depth. And when he's not talking about it, it's not odd that he's not talking about it.
Yeah, well, he does pepper it in every now and again. He says like a disconnected punchline that's obviously like a nudge towards, he'll make like a masturbation joke here and there and the crowd goes, hey! Like, so it is peppered in amongst the stand-up. He doesn't end with it though, curiously, because when he starts talking about it near the end of the bit, I was like, okay, this is going to be the end of the show now.
Yeah.
But there's more beyond that, so it's kind of nice that he gives time to it, but it's not like that's not the thing that you're thinking of when you leave the show.
I think that's a good impulse as well. I think it's structured really well.
Yeah.
Because I think there are subtle maneuvers in there that might not even be conscious on his part. But so, for instance, he can't come out on stage, right, and make fun of the women. That right? That's something he can't do.
No, of course not.
And he can't just use the opportunity because he's still kind of, dipping his toe back into the water. He's slowly getting back into the pool. So he can't come out and just say, for people who like me, I'm good. All right, I'm okay. He can't say that because that would look like. That would just be fodder for critics to go, oh, mate, who cares about you? We care about the women. But I think he does that without doing it. And one of the ways he does that is by talking about, he says that he went to France for a while and he met a woman and fell in love. And then he very quickly goes on to make jokes about the difference between French and American culture and thermometers sticking up the arse and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's his way of going, just so you know, I'm all right.
Yes.
Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I don't even know if that was a conscious move, but I think it's very nicely done either way.
Yeah.
I mean, I just admire it a lot. I admire the fact that he hasn't just taken it and let it take him out. You know?
Yeah.
He's waited, I mean, you know, for me, he wouldn't have had to wait at all, but he's waited an appropriate amount of time.
What was I say?
Right.
That's one of the things when he did his like first appearance in America in that whatever that stand-up club he goes to.
Yeah.
The argument there was if he'd have waited a year before he went and did a stand-up show, people would have been like, oh, okay, he's done a year. Right, fair enough. Because on the scale of what he did in comparison to other people, most people were agreeing that it was like the low end because it was more just weird rather than...
Yeah, I think even if you subscribe to the whole, like, oh, this is Me Too, like what he's done is, if it's within the realm of Me Too, I think even those people would admit that this is pretty low down the ladder.
Yeah. I you know, the thing with him, we haven't said what he's done, but the thing with him is, he technically speaking asked people if they were okay with it.
Yeah.
They said yes, and then he didn't think, oh, actually, that's probably still inappropriate.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, he's done absolutely nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing. If, you know, what we've been told is true, and there's not something else we don't know about, as for what we know about, I don't think any of that is wrong at all.
Well, nothing he says in the special seems to contradict what has been said publicly, does it?
No. And he's never denied it, you know. As soon as it came out, he was first to say, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But the problem here, right, it's all about just unspoken sexual politics, right? It's this left bullshit about everything is power, every interaction is a negotiation of power, and being a prominent comedian, he has the power in that dynamic, and so when he asks if he can do that and they say yes, it's inappropriate because they may not actually be comfortable, even if they don't say so. Like, you should infer that because you have all the power in it.
Yeah.
All of that, I think, is complete bullshit. There are obviously abuses of power.
Well, say he says, he was like, even if...
Yeah, he said, like, ask them if they're okay. If they say yes, ask them again.
Yeah.
And if they say yes, just don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know.
But I feel like that's what he has to say, right? If you ask and they say yes, what else is there? Do you know what I mean?
I know, but I think the point he's making is it's more trouble than it's worth, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Not making sure or not being like 100% positive or even thinking that you're 100% positive. Like, it's not worth the hassle, basically.
Yeah, but he's not saying it's not worth the hassle because of like the ethical implications. He's just saying on a practical level because of
the risk of it, I suppose, isn't worth the hassle.
To be fair, he's not saying that, but I am inferring that from I think that's probably is what he really thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more hassle than it's worth in terms of your life. It's going to completely derange and fuck up your life.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I admire the fact that he doesn't. The show is not just this complete pleading for forgiveness on his knees affair. He talks about
it's a stand-up show. It's like a pretty standard stand-up show.
Yeah.
By Louis C.K. standards, with this material occasionally peppered in and then addressed towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
The whole thing isn't about what happened, and the whole thing isn't him like, oh, I'm going to tread carefully during this one because I want people to sort of like me again before I get back into that. No, he goes straight back to like the
he does the opposite of treading carefully.
Yeah, well, one thing I read, because I was looking at some of like the critics' reviews of it, and one thing that like came out of like a lot of them were saying that because he doesn't like necessarily apologize for doing it, and they were like his like worldview and the things that he does and everything like that. If he just came out and apologized for it, that doesn't really fit with what he does and how he is.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of carried on like as him, but he has waited a period of time and then come back. And that is, they're kind of criticizing, but also pointing out that actually in line with Louis C.K. as a person, that's kind of how he would do it. And he's done exactly what they kind of expect in that regard.
Yeah, well, I mean, he comes out pretty much straight away, he just starts talking about, he says, I don't believe in God. I just don't believe in God. Not connected to that, to be fair. It is a completely separate thing. What else does he talk about in the special? He talks about, as he says, retards. He makes fun about amputees.
Yeah, there's a whole bit on that.
It is a little bit controversial, but it is
yeah.
He
throws a 9/11 in joke at some point.
He does
doesn't
9/11 joke.
It is completely unnecessary 9/11 joke.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. I like his reaction because obviously this is all written, and that's one of the things Louis C.K. does well as a comedian. He has material that is very well written, and you can tell by the way that jokes sort of play out and the way they sort of like reference other things that are said, and you can tell that it's a written piece.
Yeah.
But he's very good at delivering that naturally to the point where it almost seems like it's kind of off the cuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he sort of does the 9/11 joke, and then he just starts laughing, and he just goes, "That was completely unnecessary. I just didn't need to do that."
Yeah.
He does an impression of a Japanese woman.
He does.
I like that as well. Like, I'm not, that's just how she said it. I can't like. It would be dishonest to be like, and then he leans further into it and he's like, no, that's how she said it.
Yeah, he bars no holds.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Really liked it. Thought it was great. As far as I'm concerned, the elephant has been addressed. He never has to talk about it ever again.
Yeah.
I don't think.
No, definitely.
What do you think, Eddie? Do you like it?
I did, as I say, a bit controversial, but I did enjoy it. It made me laugh.
Yeah, that was nice because usually, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not opposed to watching stand-up material by myself, but you definitely laugh less when you're on your own, don't you?
Oh yeah.
So it feels almost, I almost feel bad for the material because it's clearly funny material, but the fact that you're not laughing at it, you kind of feel like, oh, I should be laughing. But it did make me laugh. There was nothing on the level of, was it his last recorded special, 2017, The Years Counting Down? Yeah, like that's, even on my own, I laugh. So the joke is basically, what year is it now? 2017. Like, then you had the year 0, and then all of the years before that are like minus whatever. So they're obviously counting down to like, 9, 8, 7. It's just the face he pulls. He just goes, "What's gonna happen?" He just like freaks out.
Right. Have you seen his last special, Eddie?
I've seen some of it. I haven't seen all of it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to like just break down every joke, but yeah, that joke.
Yeah,
was,
I won't say any more about the joke. My point was going to be like that special had more like, there were a couple of jokes in there where I still properly laugh at them.
Yeah.
There's no equivalent to that in this special. There were no jokes where I was like really losing, like, oh, that's so funny. Yeah. But the whole thing is consistently funny. It's all like on a level.
Yes.
I did really laugh at the 9/11 joke. I really,
I think it's his reaction that
because he
that.
then went, "Oh, that's so unnecessary." But I did really laugh because I was like, I found it funny anyway. And then he just went, and then that plane went into the World Trade Center. I just burst out laughing because I wasn't expecting it to. That's where he was going with the joke. So I was like, it's fair enough.
Well, yeah, it's not telegraphed at all. It becomes a 9/11 joke.
Right to the end. It's just about a couple. It's just about arguing about a space on a plane.
Yeah, it's like a really safe pre-watershed joke about this woman wanted to swap seats so she could sit next to her husband. The husband was like, no, don't do it.
Yeah,
and he's like, so I just got off the plane, and then that hit the World Trade Center. Yeah.
So yeah, I really laughed at that, which I know is bad, but I do have quite a dark sense of humor, so
I mean, there's nothing. There are no individual moments that get those massive laughs. For me, it's just like the way he phrases certain things. So when he says he doesn't believe in God, he says, "I just reckon there ain't." I did that.
Yeah,
there's things like that get me. Yep, I reckon there ain't no Lord.
Yeah, I also I forgot how good a storyteller he was as well. Like he does really. He's really good at sort of implanting images in your head that kind of richen the story that he's telling.
Yeah.
Like when he talks about his mother didn't have a funeral because she doesn't believe in God. So she booked her own cremation, I think it was.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did laugh at the joke about this bit.
Yeah, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to mention that bit. I'm talking more about when he says the guy picked her up. He was just in his van.
Yeah,
just his van. There was a red Gatorade rolling around in the back, and details like that where you immediately just picture the van and it just makes the joke funnier.
Yeah,
I forgot that Louis C.K. was like that. So it was nice to kind of rediscover that through the special.
Yeah,
the joke that he makes during that about the guy. That also made me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Which is really bad because when you think about the things that made me laugh the most in this special.
Well, it's, those things, you're laughing at the audacity of it, aren't you?
Yeah,
it's like a knee-jerk thing. Yeah, so a big tick from all of us.
Yep.
Yes?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Right. Doctor Who then.
Yep. The end of Tennant.
The end of Tennant.
I was giving it a little.
Okay. Yeah, so we are dealing with the specials from, is it 08 to 10?
Yes.
Yes, these are the 5 specials that round out David Tennant's tenure as the Doctor, and also Russell T Davis's time as showrunner.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
And
is the end.
There was like a producer as well, like Julie Garland or something, who left as well at the same time.
No one
Yeah.
gives a fuck about her.
Yeah, I always feel bad about that. There's like, I went to, was it the one I went to? I don't know. There's like a bunch of like Doctor Who panels where they have like the guy playing the Doctor and the companion and the showrunner and then such and such as the executive producer. And no one ever asks him a question or gives a shit about anything he has to say.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I feel, I'm sorry.
I mean,
guy.
you say that, but I reckon if it wasn't any other show, half the time the writers are also not getting asked the questions and they get invited to basically every panel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our life in the future when we're just sat on a panel, no one's asking us anything. We're just like, we fucking wrote this.
Yeah, I mean, that's the dream, right? Well, I can't remember what comedian it was, but saying that the best job in the world is to be the drummer in Coldplay. It's like you make all that money, no one knows who the fuck you are. No one recognizes you. And that's where I want to be at. I want to be in a position where I'm on the panel, and maybe even the first person they bring out as the creator. But yeah, no one wants to talk to me. That's the dream. Okay, so we start with the next Doctor.
Indeed.
Yes.
Ooh, it's not good, is it? It's
Well, shall we start giving the premise to this
okay,
episode?
all right. Well, I'll let you do that then, George, because you're the resident expert, I guess.
Ah, shit. I thought you were going to give this job to Eddie.
No, it's you.
Right, okay. So the next Doctor, David Tennant travels back in time to...
You what?
So, right, if you've come this far in and like time travel is like a like they travel in time in Doctor Who.
Nah, you're fucking having me.
I don't
on,
really
mate.
know what to do at this point, Sam. If I'm
Oh,
honest.
imagine how life would be, though. Imagine how great life would be if every time, like, you can be this far to Doctor Who and be amazed at the time of travel. Imagine how wonderful life would be. Every day you'd wake up and go, I woke up! Oh my god, I can't believe it! It's amazing. This room, it's so square. No, go on.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact year, but it's like 1500s Victorian London. He travels back to.
1500s Victorian London. Oh dear. Okay, go on.
Why is it not 1500s Victorian London?
Well, how can it be the 1500s and Victorian London? Queen Victoria needed to be the queen, right?
So
is that how it works?
Yeah.
basically the 1800s.
Oh no, I thought it was just like a period of time where it's like, oh, I guess that's
It's the Victorian period.
yeah. Aesthetically, it looks like Victorian London, so we'll just call that Victorian London.
I mean, it kind of has become that, but no. Victorian London generally refers to when Queen Victoria was.
Okay.
1851.
The episode is in the 1500s, right? I'm not.
No, it's
losing my marbles.
1851.
No, it's 1851.
It's 1851,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so it is Victorian London.
Yeah, but it's not the 1500s.
All right, okay. So I was half right,
Yeah, I wasn't denying. I was more disputing the
and
juxtaposition.
there was a 5 in there.
The juxtapositions of 1500s Victorian London.
Oh dear.
Are you sure you want me to carry on with you?
Yeah, I do. I do. Go on. It's gonna be funny now. Go on.
So it was 1500s Victorian London, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, so the year is 1851. The Doctor travels back in time to this year. It's Christmas time. And he discovers a man claiming to be the Doctor. But David Tennant has no memory of him, and this man, who's played by David Morrissey, has no memory of David Tennant. So either this next Doctor, this new Doctor, has had his memories of David Tennant removed, or something is amiss. And also the Cybermen are there.
And then Leonardo da Vinci shows up and starts the Industrial Revolution, right?
You making fun of me, Sam?
I'm sorry. Okay.
Gandhi discovers fire and...
Can you imagine if Doctor Who had the audacity to have Gandhi discover fire?
Well, curry. What's hot in it? I don't know. Eddie's gone.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Okay.
And curry in no way has the same practical applications as fire. It's by no means comparable.
No, that's very true.
All right, let's carry on.
Okay.
Yes. You could probably kill a small creature with both.
Well, you need a lot more curry than you would fire.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Like a match would probably do it, whereas with curry, it's like just stay there as you've got like a massive batch that you're kind of like, and he's turned the Hoover on.
Well, if you
sorry,
force...
mate, sorry, audience, if you hear my father hoovering in the background.
If you force fed a baby curry, it would die, and if you force fed a baby fire, it would die.
Yeah, but like
There
you
you
just
go.
drop a match into the
Not
baby's
as different
mouth.
as you'd
you're
have us
sorted,
believe.
you know?
How did we get from Doctor Who to birdie children?
I don't know. Right. So, yes, the next Doctor.
So David Tennant's eating curry in 1500s Victorian London.
Yes, that's right.
And then David Morrissey shows up and he's like, I'm also the Doctor. And
Yeah.
David Tennant's like, all right, what the fuck's going on here then?
Yeah, it's much more plinky plonky in line with some of the earlier specials, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of
Yes.
quite a bit of physical humor, facile music. Yeah, it feels like more Doctor Who for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think that's a problem that will reverberate through the rest of the specials, bar one. We'll see what you end up saying about it, Sam.
Yeah.
But it does kind of feel like... Didn't you say to Eddie didn't you tell me that the only reason the specials exist is because they wanted to give the people who are making Series 5 more time to finish it off?
Yes, so because the team was changing, the production team, the writing team, they did the specials so that they had time to prepare for a new series.
Yes, which, I mean, that's not a terrible idea, giving more time to Series 5 when you've got a whole new production team, and again, we'll get to Series 5 when we get to it, but, you know, we'll see whether it paid off or not. But yeah, the next Doctor doesn't really feel like an episode of Doctor Who that, you know, needed to exist.
I'm all for giving it more time, but just in the interim, don't feel the need to pad out, you know, with all these specials. There's just no need. It's a shame, really, because it does undermine what came before it.
But that's the thing, like the whole Russell T Davies era, you had, like, Journey's End is the finaliest finale that ever finaled, you know?
Yeah.
And now you've got 5 more stories with that character.
Yeah.
And it's not just a case of it's 5 more stories that are just going to kind of like, nothing's really going to happen, we're just going to have a bit of fun and we're just going to sort of kill some time until the next incarnation comes along. These are 5 stories that attempt to take David Tennant's Doctor to places that his previous 3 seasons have never done before.
Yeah.
Not never done, but it feels like a continuation of his character arc.
Yeah.
So, you know, these are necessary in the grand scheme of things, these specials. They're not just kind of like disposable fun.
No, well, it's what happens when you've ended your story and then you're told, oh, by the way, you know you've got 5 more episodes, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to inflate the stakes infinitely to justify, oh no, this is the ending.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He clearly ended it. I doubt that he knew when he was ending Series 4 that you'd have to do this.
I don't know, because the next Doctor is the Christmas special of that season, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember when the specials got announced.
It came out the same year as Series 4, at least. I don't know if it's considered in the same season.
I think the idea was going to be the original Christmas episode was probably when he was going to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, Journey's End happens, and then the Christmas episode, like, that's when we say goodbye to all the companions and all the story arcs are wrapped up.
Yeah.
So he would have had like one last hurrah.
Yeah, his kind of epilogue.
Yeah, exactly, an epilogue. That's the perfect word for it. Yeah, you've wrapped up the story. Here's just one little El Camino.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. So...
No.
Yeah, I'm still not taken by the Cybermen.
Okay. In fairness, I don't think this is the story to help.
No.
To help you fall in love with the Cybermen.
No.
Yeah, that's fair enough. They could have killed some kids. It would have spiced things up a bit. Again, it gets quite Power Rangers. The Megazord. At the end.
The Kaiju Cyberman, yeah.
Yeah. Not a fan
I mean,
of that.
when that episode aired, I was like, oh, giant robot, that's cool. But now, fucking why did the Cybermen need a giant Transformer Cyberman?
Yeah.
That's controlled by a human woman.
That also lasts about all of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The graphics aren't bad. Like, they have stepped up, definitely. But I think the line, "this is nonsense," is said at one point. I was like, yeah, there you go.
Right, okay.
Being their own critics. That's kind of all I got to say about that one, really.
I like
Does that
the
count
hot air balloon.
as what's it called? It's a phrase you came up with. The Sam's Lexicorner where you said like a sequel will say, oh, it's just the same thing as the first one.
Yeah, the God, I can't even fucking remember now. the Hokat's
Yeah,
justification.
would that be a Hokat's justification? We just make an episode that's just kind of like nonsense, and you've got a character saying, "Oh, this is nonsense."
I mean, not quite. But yeah, I know what you mean. Well, it's
Come
the
from
same
the same
thing.
stock, I think, don't they?
No, yeah, it was the same thing as the time travel. Oh, don't think about it. You know, it's kind of like a self-criticism in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's honestly all I've got to say. What, Eddie, you said
Okay.
you liked something about it. What did you like?
The hot air balloon.
The hot air balloon. Yeah, that's okay.
Which I only found this out recently through research. They printed a cover, a DVD cover for this episode, which didn't feature the hot air balloon because they considered that to be a spoiler.
Right.
And then in every subsequent release, the picture of the hot air balloon was then put on the cover.
Right. Okay.
Because I guess someone decided, oh, it's not a spoiler. It's a weird detail. There's not much to say about it. Just like, okay,
No.
I wonder why.
I suppose when it at the time it would have been considered a spoiler, but maybe now that it's however long ago,
Yeah.
and it's so codified that ushered in that episode.
Yeah.
You know?
So the one other thing I will add, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of these specials, but this is my second favourite, which kind of speaks volumes.
Second favorite of all the specials.
All the 5. Yeah.
Oh, the 5. Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, yeah, if you're just talking about Christmas specials, this is like way down.
Oh, yeah,
there.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
But-
Oh yeah. This is also my second favorite of the 5.
Right.
My alternate title for it is Hullaballoon.
Hullabaloo.
It gets a thumbs down.
Okay. Do you have anything to say about David Morrissey's performance at all?
It's a bit annoying. That's it.
Okay.
Fair.
I'm trying to. We've only got 5 episodes, and they're all they're not all bad, but I kind of want to. I'm trying to generate discussion about it. You know.
There's not
There's
much more
not
to
much
say.
to say about that one.
No.
No. I mean, it's quite bland, as the Christmas specials are
Yeah.
generally.
Okay.
So Planet of the Dead.
Yes.
Oh, it's terrible.
Okay, so the plot is.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the plot. The plot is Michelle Ryan is a thief.
She plays a character who's a thief, right?
Well, she might
Sure.
be. She might be a thief in real life. We don't know.
Stole an hour from me.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Michelle Ryan is a thief, and she thieves a thing,
Yeah.
and then she goes on a bus, and the doctor is like, "Hey, it's Easter. Have an Easter egg."
Yeah.
And then they go through a portal
Yeah.
to a desert, and the bus is stranded in the desert, and there are giant metal stingrays coming to eat them.
Yep.
So in order to stop the giant metal before they get abducted by these fly people,
Yeah.
and then Lee Evans, the comedian, the British comedian who's not a comedian anymore, was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do a clever thing," and the doctor's like, "Yeah, do that," and then things happen in the episode, and the episode ends. Yeah, it's not very good episode.
No, I mean, a fucking Easter special. Did Doctor Who need a fucking Easter special? And he's got Easter. It's like, oh, like that. That's the connection to it. Is he offers her an Easter egg?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the, well. What in fairness, what the hell do you do with an Easter special?
Don't do one.
I think the only reason it's an Easter special is because they wanted to. It sort of determined the air date, I guess.
Yeah.
It'll feel like an event if we do that at Easter, because it can be our Easter special rather than just 27th of February. No, here's a fucking Doctor Who episode.
If you're gonna do an Easter special, have him regenerate in it. At least then it's topical. Do you know what I mean? Have him resurrect as the new Doctor. That'd be a good thing for an Easter special.
Okay.
All about resurrect, but no, he just has an egg at one point.
Imagine if you just regenerated into a chocolate egg.
Yeah. Could you eat a chocolate Star Child? Yeah, it's
That was a reference.
that was a self-reference.
No
that was
one
a
will get.
That was a wanky reference. That was a masturbatory
yeah.
reference.
Yes.
Daniel Kaluuya's in it. That was
Yeah.
an observation.
Yep.
In this episode, that's all we can do really. It's like, this was a thing that happened.
Yeah.
And then just say nothing
Yeah.
about it because there's nothing worth saying about. Oh, actually, no. I
think
do have things I want to say about it.
Wait, before we get to those things, yes, I think, I'm sure if we put our best heads on, we could break down and provide a critique and review of this episode, but it's sort of not worth it, because I think it is an episode that's based around the image of a London double-decker bus in the desert.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, cool image, let's work a story around that. And that is a cool image, but that is sort of all it's got going for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was Michelle Ryan's audition attempt for being a companion, and she flopped it massively.
Well, she really dated it for me. Like, I recognized her. Like, oh yeah, you used to be on EastEnders. Like, and because she's not prominent anymore, it's not like it's Carrie Mulligan or anyone like that. It really dated it.
Yeah.
It was like, ooh, this is really of its time,
Yeah. Is she a good actress?
No.
Not in this.
No, not in this, but is she broadly considered to be a good actress?
Oh, I have no idea.
No.
Okay. Because I don't know if she's putting on... It feels really forced, her performance.
Yeah, very quippy and like trying to match the Doctor in her kind of sardonic smartness.
I mean, there's
thing.
that element to it, but also just literally the voice she's using sounds so forced. It sounds like she's really trying to...
Yeah.
It doesn't sound real. Even though she's doing like an RP accent. Well, she doesn't have an accent. She's just speaking like... she sounds just like, an English person, I guess. But it sounds so fake.
Yeah, she should have stayed in Albert Square, really. Maybe Michelle Ryan has just got ideas above her station. Like, she should get back in her box.
Right.
I mean, literally Albert Square is a box. But I mean, like... Doctor Who aside, she tried to break America, I think. I feel like she was in an American TV show, the lead in an American TV show, and it got cancelled. Like Bionic Woman or
that's how
like
that's how they promoted this episode when it first aired. It's the Doctor and the Bionic Woman.
Right, okay. Obviously that didn't take off, and now is she a thing now?
I haven't heard of her since this episode.
Since this, in terms of TV, she's done 4 things.
She's done 4 things since Doctor Who in television.
Yeah, but like we're talking 1 episode here, 1 episode there.
Yeah.
One thing she was in for 5 episodes.
That's, I mean, that's way low. 4 things since 2009.
Yeah.
That's bad.
She has done some like films in that time.
Okay.
She was in Cockney versus Zombies.
Right. Yeah, that's her level. That's what she should be playing. In that particular playground. Lee Evans is really grating.
It's distracting because if you know who Lee Evans is, you know that he's just doing one of his quote-unquote characters from the show.
Yeah.
Like Lee Evans, he's very like frenetic. I mean, he's known for just sweating buckets on stage, isn't he? Because he just runs around the place.
Yeah.
And he does like these, as he's sort of like delivering punchlines, he delivers them in these like various voices.
Yeah.
He's clearly like inhabiting like a character or a stereotype or something, and he's just doing one of those voices. It's like a sort of like a almost Welsh idiot
he's
voice.
leaning into his Welshness. Yeah. Well, because one of his recurring kind of character is whenever he talks about this kind of obscure social weirdo, like the man that collects all the trolleys at the supermarket. That's hunched over. They're always called Malcolm, and the character in this is named Malcolm.
Yes.
An obvious reference, but. Again, it's that thing with Doctor Who, with the Christmas specials, to be fair, in particular. It's too knowing. It's not like a work of art. It's this conversation with the audience. Like, we'll get Lee Evans in and we'll call him Malcolm. Ha ha ha. It's not standing on its own, you know? It's too populist then for its own good when it comes to the Christmas specials. Because they know they're going to get however many fucking millions of
because there's nothing else on. So everyone's going to be watching Doctor
exactly.
Who. Yeah.
And so it's so populist. And I've got nothing wrong with populist drama at all. But not when it comes to Christmas specials. It's like... have you seen has Mrs. Brown got a new show from Mrs. Brown's Boys?
Oh, God, is she?
Because I don't know whether it's the actual show, but she was just interviewing Caitlyn Jenner.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know whether the show has become just a completely different thing, where it's sort of chat show, sort of scat. I don't know, that whole thing's a fucking Hindenburg.
I mean,
but
it's, Mrs. Brown's Boys is hardly it's hardly an entity, really.
No.
But you can't completely... It's still like an audience, filmed in front of an audience sitcom. You can't fundamentally change the foundation of that show.
It is, but then, like, it just becomes you're having a laugh with your mates, because... Obviously, they keep in all the goofs and all the... when they fuck up and all that sort of stuff.
Well, do they?
Well, I mean, that started off as wouldn't it be funny if you left it in? But as far as I know, the show just became that. And yes, then obviously it's engineered and artificial.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that whole thing's a trailer fire. I don't know. What else did you have to say?
Do you want to take that insult again, Sam, or are you gonna leave it at that?
Yeah, no, go on. Well, I already called it Hindenburg.
Yeah.
Okay, that Mrs. Brown's Boys, that whole thing is a fucking illegal abortion.
I thought you were gonna call back then. I thought you were gonna be like, it's a trailer curry.
Okay, no, I wasn't going to do that. But you've done it now, so...
I have done that, yeah.
What else do you have to say about it, George?
I was going to say, there are a couple of aspects on this episode that I think on the page would have looked really good.
Right.
I think Michelle Ryan, she's clearly supposed to be, like, the perfect companion to the Doctor, or the closest thing to that, I think.
Yeah.
Like, she's also... Like, they draw parallels between the fact that she's a thief and she thiefs things. And the Doctor stole the TARDIS, so they could kind of draw a parallel there. She's very clever and witty, and the Doctor's obviously very clever and witty, and they both talk very quickly, and they both seem to be on the same wavelength a lot.
Yeah.
But because this is post Journey's End, and because the Doctor has now lost 3 companions, his like this at this point in his life, he's just like, you know what, I'm done with all of that. It always ends badly for me. I'm just going to travel on my own. I like that idea. I like the idea that he's kind of like almost, it doesn't really show in the episode, but I like the idea of him sort of being tempted to like go back to that life of traveling with someone and but he just goes, yeah, you know what, I've grown past that. I think that's a really good idea, but that kind of gets lost in the episode. Also, the other thing as well is the monsters, which are just creatures carrying out their normal life cycle, and that just so happens to be threatening to the Doctor and the people who are on that bus.
Yes.
I like that idea. I feel like that's, I know Doctor Who has done things like that in the past, but I like the idea of, it's not an evil.
Yeah. There's no malevolent. They've just fallen into like an ecosystem where they don't belong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also metal stingrays. That's kind of cool as well.
I suppose.
So not school bus, double-decker bus in a desert and metal stingrays. There's some cool imagery in this episode, but it's nowhere near enough to carry it.
No.
It's just shit.
In summary, yeah. My alternate titles are Busman's Faraday,
Okay.
The Sands of Time, Dune Bussy, and Trouble Decker.
Yes.
I like Trouble Decker.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go Trouble Decker then. But thumbs down.
Yes.
The Waters of Mars. Premise us, bitch.
Okay. The Doctor goes to Mars.
So what I thought about...
Doctor Who goes to Mars. The Doctor turns up on this base in 25 something in the other. I don't know.
Do you need me to look up the date for it again?
2059, I think it is actually.
Okay, 2059. Once again, I got the 5 in the wrong place in the date, but I knew there was a 5. The Doctor turns up at this research facility on the surface of Mars. He discovers that these are the people that kind of inspire the human race to sort of leave planet Earth and go out and colonize amongst these different species and stars and all this kind of thing. But he also finds out that everyone dies on this base. That's sort of what motivates humanity to go out and do its thing. And he also discovers that he has happened to turn up on the day in which they all die. And this is a fixed point in time. The Doctor can't do anything about it, because if he changes this event, then it fundamentally changes the future of the human race. So he's basically faced with this...
moral conundrum.
Yeah, he's kind of in the presence of all these people who are really nice, and obviously they're people. The Doctor naturally wants to save them, but there's nothing he can do. And that kind of forms the foundation of the episode.
Yes.
Take it away.
I shall. This is obviously the best one of the 5.
Yes.
It's a pretty good episode in its own right.
Mm-hmm.
When it starts and he emerges from the TARDIS, he's wearing a spacesuit.
Yes.
And I noticed that that's the only time that he, well, so far anyway, has worn one. Because we know it would be required on Mars.
Yes.
So it kind of retroactively makes you think, all the other planets and atmospheres he's been to, it's never been required. That's kind of nice and convenient.
Well, actually, no. I think that spacesuit is... Because that becomes the Doctor's spacesuit. If he ever wears a spacesuit, he wears that.
Right.
But I think we originally saw that in The Impossible Planet. Am I right, Eddie?
Series 2, yes, we did.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, I missed that completely then.
But I take your points. We know that the Doctor wouldn't be able to survive in this environment, so we have to put him in a spacesuit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair, I think, as an observation.
It was the first episode where it didn't feel... It felt like it was pitching it to an older audience.
Yes.
I think, young kids, it's not appropriate for them to see this episode.
Okay, in what respect?
Well, as in, I think this is a 12A. This isn't a PG. This is a 12A.
It's no gorier or swearier than usual Doctor
It's
Who.
no gorier. It's bleaker, and I would say, it's the first time in Doctor Who that I have found something genuinely quite creepy.
Okay.
And that is, that when they become zombified, essentially. They've got this wide-eyed... Well, they're wide-eyed as they drip water that they're generating.
Water sort of their mouth is all cracked, and water's just kind of falling out of their bodies.
Yeah. When the I can't remember her name, the black lady, when she becomes zombified, that I found quite a creepy image of her just kind of
it's the
behind
eyes.
the glass. It's the eyes. Yeah, it's the eyes.
It's definitely the eyes.
Yeah. So I like that. I found something genuinely quite creepy. It's not a silly episode, which is nice. The only silliness really is when the Doctor hotwires the robot, and then you've got the guy controlling it kind of going and shaking.
Yeah, he sort of... Yeah.
That's really goofy.
I wonder why they did that.
Just for a laugh, I suppose, is it?
I guess. That's the one laugh you get, is it?
Yeah.
In this episode.
I like that they called it Bowie bass. I thought that was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, we'll get to that. So yeah, I like the whole idea of obviously that central conundrum of I can't save these people because yes, it would alter history or the future.
Well, we find out that the woman who leads the base, what's her name? Is it Lindsay Duncan?
Lindsay Duncan, yeah.
Yeah, but Adelaide Brooke is the name of the character, we find out that during the invasion in Stolen Earth Journey's End, she was a child, and a Dalek encountered her and didn't kill her. It sort of spared her and it flew away. And that sort of that ends up feeding into the idea that this is a fixed point in time. Like even the Daleks, even this like absolutist, we will murder everything that isn't us race of beings, even they knew they couldn't kill her.
Yeah, everyone honors this, yeah. Yes, I like that idea. I like that he doesn't adhere to it.
Yes.
I think it's an interesting... The only thing is, I feel like the show is making too much of an effort to darken him. Like, you didn't need to do this with...
This is definitely this feels like a massive tonal shift for the character. Especially after Planet of the Dead and the Next Doctor as well.
Yeah.
If this had followed on from Journey's End, I would still have wanted more of a build-up to this moment.
Yeah.
But it would have felt like, I can sort of see that they were making him gradually darker.
Yeah.
But the fact that we sort of jump back to it almost being like a cartoon at times, and then we jump to like the waters of Mars, it does feel like very inconsistent.
The thing is, right, what he does is a very hubristic thing to do. Like, he decides that he is above the laws of time and space, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. And you sort of, because you like these people and you want him to save them in a way. So there's a kind of victoriousness to him doing it. But then the person he saves, Adelaide Brooke, she, having been made aware of the significance of her death, she basically balks at him saving her. It's like, but I thought you said you couldn't, what happened there?
Yeah, because throughout the episodes, he's sort of delivering information to the crew members that sort of makes them suspicious of who he is and what he knows.
Yeah.
And then as everything starts to go wrong and as people start to die, that's when the doctor decides to leave. And she sort of confronts him and says, why aren't you saving us? And then he kind of, he imparts that knowledge onto her. It's like, you have to die because this basically allows the next step in human evolution to happen.
Yeah.
So she kind of accepts that. She's like, right, okay, then I will die. I will accept this fate. And then when the doctor changes her mind, she's like, but you told me this was important. Why the hell are you doing this, And
I feel like it would have been enough as the viewer to go, oh my God, he sacrificed the rules, for altruism.
Yeah.
But the fact that then she says, what the fuck did he do that for? And that would be a moment to him to go, oh my God, I've just done a thing.
Yeah.
But no, he doubles down. He says, no, I can do what I want. I just saved you. Be grateful for it. Fuck you, bitch. Basically, right? So I can do what I want,
Yeah.
Go on, don't matter. I'm above it all. I can do what I want. It just felt like a step too far at that point. Like, it would have been enough had he just broken the rules,
Okay.
She could have been grateful, and he kind of not really realised it. You know what I mean? Like, it was...
Yeah.
It was kind of too much. And then, obviously, she goes and offs herself in her house.
Yes.
Very dark ending. I like that.
Yeah.
Right. Then Ood Sigma shows up.
He does.
Right, okay.
You know what's coming, don't you, Eddie?
Yeah.
Well, that's why you laughed.
The reason I can't drop the death thing, right, is that... So at the end... Ood Sigma appears, and there's this sense of, are you here as a siren, as a harbinger of my, impending death?
Yeah.
And then he rejects it. He's like, no, I'm not yet, and he runs away from it. Now, for that to have any weight and importance to me, him rejecting his own death, I need to know what that actually means.
Right.
If I'm going to accept his response to it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The second thing is his death preordained? Because surely... he says it himself, he's like the unrooted mover. He's the thing that can break the rules.
Yeah.
The fact he does change history is kind of evidence of that.
Yes.
So what's going on with this cosmic, the fates are aligning, you are going to die what does that even mean? Also, there are psychics to call back the Planet of the Dead?
Yeah, we didn't touch on that in Planet of the Dead, yeah. Yeah, usually in a Doctor Who story, when you have something that's sort of, I don't know, how would you describe psychics?
Well, supernatural, right? Anything supernatural is given a sci-fi explanation.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But in Planet of the Dead, no, she's just a psychic.
Yeah, and...
Like, the fact they went through a wormhole is kind of amplifying her abilities. I think that's the bullshit explanation they give. But also, like, her being psychic doesn't add anything to the story.
No,
it's not as if
all.
she's, like, warning them of events and that's allowing them to survive, or it doesn't kind of allow them to communicate with the people on the other side of the portal. There's nothing like that. She just kind of goes, this is not good.
Yeah, and this is
She
this
literally
is a
said,
tangent.
he will knock 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's just like a it's to keep a continuity, isn't it? Of like, oh no, this is all one
Well,
thing.
his death
Yeah.
was, his death's planned from episode 3 of series 4.
His death is planned.
So this whole thing about his death in series 4, episode 3,
Right.
The Ood say then that his song is ending soon.
Okay, but what does that mean?
Yeah, but no,
then?
that's not like the specifics of his death probably weren't planned. Just the fact that David Tennant was going to leave was planned.
But that's like the first thing where they decided we're going to make this a thing of.
Yeah, but with the Ood, that's fine because the Ood are sort of tapped into the rhythm of the universe, aren't they?
Yes.
Through songs, they can sort of understand things. I don't know how else you describe it.
that's...
But just this like woman who's like, oh, I'm gonna go home have dinner with my husband now. Also, you're gonna die.
No, but even with the Ood tapping into, the rhythm of the universe, how is his death ordained? I don't get how his death...
Melody? Would melody be better? Melody of the universe rather than rhythm? Rhythm doesn't quite feel right as a...
Well,
as a
whatever, however you want to express that. I still don't get how the thing outside space and time can have a linear, you're going to die soon. Well, soon doesn't mean anything. He's the Doctor.
It depends, doesn't it?
I would say you got to remember, even for the psychic, whether she knows who the Doctor is or not, in her vision, what she's seeing is someone knocking, he dies, that's that. Her vision doesn't necessarily have to go into the regeneration, because people know he's the Doctor, unless you travel with him, you don't necessarily know about the whole regeneration thing. So the Ood are tapped into like everything. So it makes kind of sense that they would know that something's going to happen soon. And by saying his song is ending, they're still inferring that's not necessarily inferring death. That is inferring that his regeneration as David Tennant is up.
Yeah, that's all fair enough. I don't have a problem with psychics in Doctor Who. I don't have a problem with the Ood. It's more the idea at all that you could foretell the Doctor regenerating or the Doctor dying.
I mean, trying to understand how Doctor Who doesn't even remain consistent with its time travel sometimes.
I'm sure
but
there's
I think the idea is that everyone has a timeline.
Yeah,
like whether you're a time traveler or whether you're just moving linearly through time.
Yes,
you have a timeline.
Every individual has a linear timeline. Yeah.
Yeah. So like 20 minutes for the Doctor, he could be in the 1500s, the 2700s, and the beginning of the universe. But it's still like 20 minutes of his timeline have still expired, if that makes sense.
Yeah, in Doctor time.
Yeah, in Doctor time, his song is ending soon.
Yes.
David Tennant's song is ending soon. Because yes, I know we've had this discussion already, but it is genuinely a case of we're not saying goodbye to the character of the Doctor, we're saying goodbye to the actor.
Yeah.
People are invested in the actor. It's this weird mindset you're in with Doctor Who, because you are investing in it as a show, and you are investing in the stories that are being told, but you're also very much aware of, because the actor playing the main character can change, and because that's like explained within the universe of the show, you are kind of aware of the show as a construction outside of the stories that are being told. So when a Doctor regenerates, even though it's the same character, and I suppose if you want to be thing about it, why should we even care that he's changing? He's still the same character, but it's the actor we're saying goodbye to.
But I don't think that's being nitpicky or persnickety. I think that's
I'm not saying it's being nitpicky.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it at all. I'm just saying that is the relationship the viewer has with Doctor Who.
And I obviously understand that. I just think there's a cleverer way of doing it. There's a way of doing it where you can have a cathartic farewell to the actor without it having the same gravity within the show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but people who write stuff like that and come up with ideas like that don't write Doctor Who.
Fair enough.
Is that like with the Sonic discussion where there's 2 hours of me like defending the franchise and then I go, oh, but it's not that good really. Like we've just been bending over backwards to try and like give it some sort of logic, and then you're going, yeah, but it doesn't, none of that's really there.
It's kind of a tangent, but we sort of talked about this the other day, that even in no-nonsense shows like The Sopranos, or, where the showrunner and the show itself is no faff, no bullshit.
Yeah.
Whenever they have featured psychics, they have never explained away the supernatural element with a real world, explanation. I don't know what.
Yeah, they never debunk it. Like, if someone makes sort of like a premonitious statement, that statement usually turns out to be true.
It's either treated with an ambiguity or lent some credence.
I don't know what. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's just like because obviously the people who run shows are very writery people. They enjoy writing, and I don't know whether that's just the writer in them enjoying the poetry of something being predetermined or something being like a fate being presented to the character and seeing how they react to that.
Maybe I think an argument could be, I mean, it could just be a coincidence, right?
Yeah.
But I think part of it might be to bring on a psychic and then kind of
just disprove them would seem cruel.
Not cruel. It would just be it's the easiest thing in the world to do, isn't it? Invent a medium character that then you discredit. It's more interesting to not do that. And again, it's just like grandstanding of like, haha, look, we brought in, obviously they're a fake. It's like, well, that's easy. That's cheap storytelling. I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, that was tangent.
Okay.
Yes, I like the waters of Mars.
Okay.
It gets a thumbs up.
Yes. Do you think this episode justifies?
No.
Okay.
No.
You already know where I was going with
we
that.
could have had this episode as a series 4 episode.
That's the thing. I don't know where it would. If you were to completely get rid of the specials, I don't know how you keep the Waters of Mars, because it has to come after Journey's End. But Journey's End is the finale's finale that ever finales.
You make this the Christmas special. You get rid of the next Doctor. You make this the Christmas.
Really?
special.
You're gonna make the Waters of Mars a fucking Christmas special?
You just ignore the fact that
all the family gathered around watching David Tennant
like what
drive
they
a woman
did.
to suicide.
So when Chibnall takes over as screenwriter, one of the things he did is he took the special off of Christmas and he made it a New Year's thing.
Well,
have it on New Year's instead of Christmas.
I mean, as it exists, obviously it can't be anywhere other than where it is. But with some amendments, just you plant it right in the middle of series 4, and you've got a blink on your hands.
Yeah.
Like Donna can't go because he's only got one spacesuit, right? I don't know, you come up with some reason. So he goes on his own to Mars, and you play out this story. And the big thing of the story is sometimes he's in a position to change history. Should he or shouldn't he? He does. It produces this horrible real-world effect where this woman kills herself, and then, that's an episode. I
think it's more the implications that episode carries. You can't have the Waters of Mars and then, like the fact that the Doctor did what he did, and the fact that, this has marked a change in the character in a way.
Yeah.
You can't just put this in the middle of the series and be like, all right, back to business as usual.
Well, you do it towards the end of the series run then. You do it in the lead up to the big finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't require too many changes. It's just a shame you didn't think of it earlier, I guess.
Right.
As a story idea. But no, I don't think it justifies all these specials, as good as it is. So my alternate titles: Strife on Mars, obvious. I had to get the obvious one out of the way. Then as it gets a bit more esoteric. So obviously the woman who kills herself is called Adelaide. So I've got Adelaide Down Under.
Right. Okay.
I've got Brook of the Dead. My favourite one, Hydrogen Zomb. Or like the most obvious titly one, Like a Dog to Water. But my favourite one, is Hydrogen Zomb, I gotta say.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
you are really committing to this alternate title business, aren't you?
I am.
Like, I am going to come up with all the puns.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Yes. Do you consider this to be one of David Tennant's strongest episodes?
The phrasing of that. What do you mean exactly?
Well, I suppose in terms of his performance, definitely, but also this episode is considered. I don't think it's considered the best David Tennant episodes, even taking Blink out of the equation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about an episode that David Tennant is actually in, as you've said in a previous podcast.
Yeah.
But like the Waters of Mars is held in very high regard. It's considered like one of the best episodes of the entire of Russell T Davies's entire run of the show.
Yeah.
Let alone David Tennant's run of the show. I suppose all I'm asking really is, do you agree with that? Do you think this is like maybe not essential Doctor? Well, no, yeah. Is it essential Doctor Who viewing, if not essential viewing outside of the show, like Blink is?
It's top 10, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and kind of gather, a collected assessment, I suppose. But
it'd make my top 10.
Yeah. It'd probably make my top 10.
Okay.
So far.
Well, we've only got 2 more episodes of David Tennant that could knock it out of the top 10.
Oh, spoiler, they don't.
Are we discussing them as separate episodes or as an entire story?
Yeah, we're going to have to do separately.
Okay.
Okay, The End of Time, Part 1.
Yes.
Right. What's with this fantasy bullshit?
Hang on. All right. What bullshit are you on about?
Well,
there's a lot of bullshit in this episode. We need to delineate which bullshit you're talking about.
The narrator sort of framework of there was once a doctor and one day, it's got a very fantasy kind of trapping to it, I suppose.
I think they make that diegetic by the end of the episode.
They do. But I wasn't a fan of that.
Okay.
The TARDIS in the stained glass, not a fan of that. Okay, so when he turns up on, it's the same planet, isn't it?
It's Planet of the Ood again, yeah.
He's just left the scene of a suicide, right?
No. That is a little bit of a spoiler, but I think in the episode you're supposed to know that
he's gone off
there's been some time between the Waters of Mars and the end of time.
Okay, that's fair enough. I was under the impression that he just left the suicide and all of a sudden he's got a sombrero and a garland and you're like, you're a sociopath.
Oh no, it is still it's a tonal shift, but because if you're binge watching it as well, the last thing you just saw was David Tennant dealing with, oh, holy shit, I just, changed history.
Yeah.
And it resulted in this woman committing suicide, which is a far less noble death than before.
Yeah.
And then the next time you see him, he's he looks like he's just been to, a stag do.
Yeah.
But, no, yeah. In fairness, there has been some time in the show as well.
Yeah, he's married. By this point, he's married Good Queen Bess.
Okay. The moment where he locks the TARDIS, and it's like a car lock, and he's like, it's funny. It's like if you say so, David Tennant. Yeah, he's bugging me at this point.
Okay.
Which is good that it's his final outing, I suppose. Because
surely
he hasn't bugged me at all.
For his death to mean anything, you have to like him in his final outing.
Oh, well, I didn't. I found him irritating.
Especially the way that... no, that's... We'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay. Yeah, when they get Harold Saxon's wife. And so I think that runs through all this episode and the next one is a lot of really bad writing.
Yeah.
And a lot of bad dialogue, which Russell T Davies has not done.
No.
For the most part. It's almost like he's operating with a scorched earth MO.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but so Aaron Sorkin, when he left The West Wing after season 4, he's denied it, and I don't know, but it's been widely speculated that he left that show in a state where it would be very difficult to untangle it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Going to season 5. As a fuck you to the network, basically. And it feels a bit like that Russell T Davies is like, I'm just gonna fuck everything up.
Right.
So you can't come back from it. He starts to resolve it a little bit more towards the end, but there's a lot of it's like you just stopped caring.
Mm.
Okay, so when they get Harold Saxon's wife, she says, the woman, you were his wife, you bore his imprint. That's a very classy way of saying he fucked you.
It's very we need to be careful how because they basically just put a tissue on her lips.
Or we kissed her.
Yeah, so a little bit of lipstick goes in the Harold Saxon juice. Or whatever
they didn't swab her vag.
No. But you know what I would have had afterwards to Mars? I felt like a
bad swab would be welcome.
Yeah, no, just you're pulling in. You gave an episode to the older audience. They're sort of paying attention now. Go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
And then, so solidifying that fantasy element, you've got the potions.
Yeah.
And the lightning and all that sort of stuff. Then there's horror elements. I kept singing Bohemian Rhapsody in my head. Is this horror? Is this just fantasy?
Right.
And then you've got the master himself.
Yes.
So peroxide blonde now.
Yep.
Peroxide blonde monk, like the villain from the Da Vinci Code.
Mm-hmm.
So is that mixed with Cole McGrath, mixed with Gollum, is what he is in this episode.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous, isn't it? It's in the realms of the very stupid now.
He occasionally turns into They Live alien as well.
Yeah.
He's got Palpatine-like abilities.
And Johnson is committing
that,
and good for him, but it's just starkly stupid. It's when he goes, dinner time, it's okay.
And
right.
eating as well, it's just
ravenously
ramming this food. I think he actually did that though.
He did. He properly ate the burger. I think they did more than one take, so he ate more than one, and he did that.
Right.
Yeah.
Every time.
I didn't really understand what was happening.
Nope.
Nor did I care.
Nope.
Okay.
To be honest, there's that scene where you get the doctor and the master are reacquainting after all this time, and there's a very dramatic scene, and then just Cribbins shows up with a bunch of OAPs, and the doctor's getting his photo taken with them.
Yeah.
It's what is this? A fucking mess. What's going on? I liked when they were in the the cafe, and then he sees Donna from a distance, and then Cribbins is like, she's got this face. It's like she's so sad, but she can't remember why. Like, welcome to adulthood, Bernard. That's what adulthood is.
Fair play to you, Bernard Cribbins, if you manage to go through your entire life and the concept of being a sad adult is like you missed it completely.
I gotta say, coming from a man who's got a face that is always a little bit sad.
Yeah.
He's just got a face that always looks vaguely upset about something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because of the tonal inconsistency and this scorched earth policy, it starts to feel like none of it is really happening. I don't know if you got that sense. It's like, because of its narrator framing and its kind of sense of exaggeration, it's almost like an alternate reality episode.
I just thought it was over the top.
Do you know what I mean, though? But because of that, because of how so over the top it is, it feels like at the end of it, you're going to go, this was like one of those Catherine Tate is in a different life thing going on.
Okay. No, I didn't feel that. I think it's such a strange finale.
Yeah.
Because this is the actual finale to all of this stuff. And it just feels, considering the implications of the episode and how big the episode is trying to be, like it brings back the Master, it brings back the Time Lords, it brings back Gallifrey, as we find out by the end of the episode and sort of at the beginning of the next one. It brings back Bernard Cribbins, it brings back like Donna a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like referencing and sort of following on from all of these like episodes and adventures that David Tennant has gone on. Like it brings back the Ood and it references Awesome Mars and all that sort of stuff. It feels so small. It feels like a tiny little story, despite having all of these like massive lore elements in it.
That's interesting. I never thought it was small.
Well, it's just like a lot of the first episode is just kind of like John Sim and David Tennant, like
in a quarry.
Yeah, like near a dock, basically.
Yeah, no, okay. In that sense, fair enough. I suppose so. But I think its tone kind of shattered that.
Well, I'm wondering if that's why they went with the narration elements. Like, this feels so small. We need to make this episode feel bigger than it actually is.
Yeah, maybe.
And also, let's use Timothy Dalton. We fucking hired the guy. Let's use him. You know?
Yeah, shame in it.
Yeah.
Was Catherine Tate pregnant?
I have no idea.
She looks
I don't know.
Maybe she was just fat. So.
Yeah, maybe. But she okay.
But you know what? Fair play to you. Like you gave her an out.
I gave her an
she
out,
might be pregnant. Yeah.
Feeding into the scorched earth theory of like, I can't be bothered anymore. So I'll just, instead of cleverly working out the minutia, I'll do the shorthand. President Obama ends recession tonight. What does that even mean? What does that mean?
President Obama has come up with a financial plan that's going to change the fucking world.
Oh, he's going to end recession tonight. And they say that on the news. President Obama ends recession tonight. And then characters are saying it to each other.
Yeah.
Obama's going to end recession. What do you mean?
It's weird because firstly, it's President Obama. I think it's the first time in Russell T. Davis's run where he's used a real life figure in office.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
So it's weird that they used Obama. Again, I don't know if that's to make it feel bigger than it is. Like, let's use the actual president.
Topical as well.
Topical as well. And also the fact that so many times it said like, President Obama's going to end recession. It feels like it's going to play into the story somehow. Like, you'll find out that Rassilon was Barack Obama all along, or Barack Obama is a Time Lord and he's like, part of the Master's master plan.
I mean, I probably would have rated it if Barack Obama turned out to be a Time Lord.
Yeah. I mean, then you got lines like, is it Joshua Naismith? Is that his name?
Yeah. Yes.
David Hayward. Yeah. I want her to never die. Whew, there is some ripe dialogue in this episode.
Yep.
Is it just me, or did his relationship with his daughter seem a little inappropriate?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, there's something not quite right there.
Yeah.
I completely understand the desire to have your children live forever, but there's almost like a weirdly, they seem a little too intimate, those two. It's the way they're talking to each other.
Absolutely.
It's like, the way Trump talked about his own daughter.
Yes, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, the thing is, it's a really dumb episode, but you're kind of carried along, not really knowing what's happening, but the music underneath it constantly, and the tonal vacillation, it kind of propels you along with nothing happening badly.
Yeah.
But still, my big note of the episode is, whoa, that was a whole lot of stupid.
Yep.
Well, now you have David Tennant crying, so it must be good, right?
Yeah.
I was really disappointed rewatching this. Really disappointed.
Have you, until now, had you rewatched it prior to its initial airing?
No,
I hadn't either.
And
I think that speaks a lot.
I was so disappointed.
Like how important, considering that it is literally the end of an era for multiple people who are involved in the show. It says a lot that we've had no compulsion to go back to it.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, so based on the ending for this episode, my alternate title is Being John Sim.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, come on, that's fucking good. That's good. Come on.
How's it good?
Well, it's like being John Malkovich, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but
Because there's that scene in being John Malkovich where everyone is a Malkovich.
yeah.
Oh no, I'm not having that. That is a better than that. That's a good title. That is.
No, because that's just being John Sim. Yeah, John Sim. He's an actor in.
But
the
it's
show,
a reference to being John Malkovich.
I know it's a reference to being John Malkovich.
There you go. Clever. Right, the end of time.
Really, is it?
Part 2. It is clever.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is clever. The end
If it was
of time.
clever, I would have gone, "Oh, that's really clever." But I
No,
didn't.
you wouldn't.
no, you wouldn't,
You wouldn't. You
George.
don't give me any clever credit.
I declared that Trouble Decker was the one that
That's
we
not. But
definitely go.
that's the easiest. That's the worst
But it's
one.
not. The Sands of Time was the easiest one. Trouble Decker is like,
Trouble, no, it's not. It's like, okay,
That's
double
inspired.
decker. Trouble
I'll
decker.
say it. It was
No,
inspired.
It wasn't inspired.
Take the fucking credit.
It's the equivalent of that episode of Strife on Mars. It's like, okay, you do get out of the way, get that one out of the way, then you can move on to the better ones.
Right.
Anyway, the end of time part 2. Timothy Dalton at the start saying, "I will not die."
Yep.
Yeah, terrible. And then, right, so they're obviously trying to do this thing where like the Doctor and the Master have this like symbiotic relationship,
Yes.
and like they define it. It's like Batman and the Joker, you know.
Yeah.
But they're not. And like when the Doctor says to him, "I wonder what I'd be without you." Well, what you've been for most of the series, mate.
Yeah.
Like you didn't know about him until the very end of series 3. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with their relationship prior to the revival, so I don't know if this is calling back to what they were doing to the Master before. I don't think it was. I don't think the Master was like this. But yeah, it does. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I liked the when Joshua Naismith sort of abducts the Master. I mean, this is sort of episode 1 material, but like when he brings him in and he's like, "Oh, John Sim's Master, can you like do this really clever thing?" And in that moment, it sort of feels like he's the Doctor almost, not in his behavior, just like the role he's playing in that scene.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I like that. I like that as a kid as well. I like the idea of like treating the Master like he's a Time Lord. Like, not that he's a villain, just like I like those moments where you sort of see what the Master is kind of shines through, rather than him just being like the opposing force in a story. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I get you.
Yeah.
The evil laughter wears thin very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish you'd stop doing that.
Yeah.
There's that scene with what's that species called? You know, the cactus people.
I don't think they. Oh no, they do say, because the machine is
the Vinvoci.
Yeah, it's that joke, isn't it, where it says, "Oh, the cactuses did this." It's like, it's cacti, and then he goes, "That's racist."
Yeah.
What? Again, it's like that was really bad, lazy. Joke.
But it is
writing, you know.
But it is cacti. That is the plural.
I know,
It's,
I
you
know.
if he'd said cactuses, that's racist. Then maybe.
I guess the idea is that referring to them as cacti is racist.
Okay.
It's
Like,
just
it's like calling
shit
black
writing.
people.
It
fucking
really doesn't
cacti.
matter. It's just shit writing.
No. Think now. What they're trying to do, isn't it? Is it's the equivalent of saying like a black person's a monkey.
I don't think they're trying to do anything. I think they're just like,
No, that is
You know
completely what they're
you
trying
know
to
what I mean, but it's that they're obviously not trying to make a sincere point with it. But like they look like cacti, and so you say, "Oh, it's cacti." To them, that's racist because they're not cacti. They're whatever they are.
Oh no, I thought the idea that the word cactuses was okay, but cacti is racist.
No, I don't think so. I think it was just referring to them as that.
I see.
know?
Okay, right.
Yeah. Because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Because it's like, no, we are cactuses. No, you're not. What are you saying?
Okay.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, I've been working on the assumption all this time that it was the word cacti they had a problem with, rather than the idea they were being compared to cactuses.
Cactuses. Okay. The Situation Room graphics are atrocious, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
They're really bad.
Yeah.
So Eddie, you brought up that he's got the Darth Sidious Palpatine energy burst thing.
Yep.
There's a lot of Star Wars in this episode.
Yes.
A lot of Star Wars vibes.
Yes.
Got the Senate, you've got like dogfights. The music is even John Williams-esque at points.
Yep.
Okay.
There's a lot. How the fuck did he survive that fall?
Yeah.
He's not, Time Lords are still, he's basically human, isn't he? Just with 2 hearts.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
So how the fuck did he survive that?
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
We have no answer for you. It's bad writing.
I know. It's
we can't
rhetorical.
defend it, you know?
Yeah, I honestly didn't know what was happening.
Okay.
I just wrote, was like, I doubt it would be, but I hope this isn't the tipping point where I can't keep track anymore. Because like so much was happening about Gallifrey and all that. I was like, I hope there's not too much detail now that it's forever ruined for me.
Yeah.
Because I can't keep track of it. But this is anomalous, right? This episode is just a confusing mess.
Yeah.
Not saying it will never happen again, but like, it doesn't set a precedent, does it?
No.
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 God.
No, yeah.
Right.
It's not as if...
No, it has its confusing moments.
Right. Are the best days over?
Yes.
I would say...
Fuck!
I would say no.
Okay.
I know
there's
you
a
don't
lot
like...
to go.
I know you don't like Series 5, Eddie, but I quite like Series 5.
Which one's the one with the Weeping Angels? Is that Series 5?
Oh, you mean the two-parter?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Series 5, yeah.
In which case, this is the series I don't really mind, but I don't think it's as good.
Okay. I mean, I quite like it as a season, not just as a collection of episodes. I really like the season as a whole. That Weeping Angels episode, it's all stuff we'll get to, but that's not great. But yeah, I would say
the first half's very highly regarded.
Of the two-parter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I know why the second half is like...
Yeah, the second half isn't, but the first half of that is really highly regarded.
Yeah, but no, in answer to your question, Sam, I don't know if Eddie has a different answer, but I think the next season is quite good. I really like the next season. Season 6, I don't really like at all, although there are some good episodes in it. Season 7 is just peaks and troughs all over the place, and then from Series 8 onwards, it starts to go downhill. Like every season is worse than the next season is worse than the one before, you know? Okay. So yeah, you've what is considered the golden age of Doctor Who?
Series 3, right? That's gotta be the golden age.
I know that's considered like, you know, the highlight of Doctor Who, but I think the golden age is considered to be like, I think Series 5 is in the golden age, right, Eddie?
In terms of what you consider the golden age, yes. Series 5 is like the last one really in the golden age.
Yeah, that's the last like definitively good season of Doctor Who, I would say.
So 1 to 5 is the golden age, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then from 6 onwards,
6 onwards, you're just hoping for good episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to the end of time. All these planets, Gallifrey and every other planet that were entering our atmosphere, how they're not fucking up the ecosystem is beyond me.
Yeah, it did feel a bit like... I'm surprised that like when Gallifrey started appearing in Earth's sky, no one was like, it's happening again! Yeah. Because we've literally just done this, you know?
Yeah. This
probably hasn't been a year since the last time planets were in the sky.
It's a bit of a nitpick. The fact that Timothy Dalton is Lord President, that's his title.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It bothers me that that's a mixture of a republic and a peerage. I can't abide that. You can't be a lord and a president. No. It's one of the two, mate.
It's a Time Lord, though. It might be all right.
No, I know.
But
it's clearly it's like a republic, isn't it? It's like a senate sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's the vibe you
but
get
also
from,
they're lords, aren't they? They're kind of...
he's the Lord President of Time.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
They cap... Well, not the very last scene, but they cap it all off with a cantina scene. It's like, okay, you were going for a Star Wars.
Oh, yes.
Vibe.
It's
and
fully
you get them all.
in the influence.
You get them all. You get the Hath, you get the Jadoon, you get them all. You even get a Slitheen.
Yeah.
Because everyone wanted those back.
Everyone wanted those back.
To be fair, if it just had Peter Kay's Absorbaloff just like in the background somehow, that really just would have topped off the whole thing.
Just in a bar fight with one of the Slitheens, just fucking, scuffling in the background.
And again, I'm only ever operating right within like the internal logic of the show. So I know that the real answer to this is we want to say goodbye to David Tennant.
Yeah.
But within the logic of the show, I gotta say, it's really nice that he absorbed just enough radiation for a nostalgia tour. It's nice that he didn't absorb enough to kill him outright.
Yeah.
It's nice that he got just the right amount that he can go and have a nice goodbye with everyone.
Yeah. That's a good question, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
This song that plays during that quote-unquote cantina scene, is that the song that Tallulah performs to in Daleks in Manhattan?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I recognized it. Why is that in a space cantina?
Callbacks.
Well, I guess they have humans there as well, right?
Okay.
I don't know. They have gays there, so they must have humans as well.
That's how you know it's like alien society. They'll let in the gays, but the humans...
Alien, yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say, right, is I know he absorbed enough radiation to kill him, but given that he absorbs radiation in Smith and Jones, I love the fact that, like, if he'd have just tried to get it out of his shoe, like, if he just tried starting that...
Oh,
have
you ever seen The Champ?
No.
All right, there's an old film called The Champ, right? And it's famous for its ending where it's about a boxer and his young son. And at the end of the film, the champ is killed in the ring. And it ends with his son trying to wake him up going, come on, champ, come on. And it's like regarded as one of the saddest endings, right? Or like Pikachu trying to revive Ash. It'd be funny if you ended the whole thing with David Tennant just like hopelessly trying to get it all out through his shoe, like, come on. No, just sobbing as like the radiation's poisoning him.
Yeah. Literally, if they'd done that and then just not given him the nostalgia tour and then he just gone back to the TARDIS and died.
just died. Yeah, yeah, that would have been quite nice actually. Like just a quiet, mournful. I'm going outside and maybe sometime.
Yeah.
Final walk. That would have been quite nice. But I get why they did it.
I don't understand the mechanics of that booth, considering it's the thing that essentially kills David Tennant. I don't understand how it works at all. Is the idea that you stand in the booth and you are the power source? Is that how it works?
I honestly don't know. It didn't because he has to get him out and replace him.
Yeah, because Bernard Cribbins is in there.
Yeah.
Spoiler: he's the one who ends up knocking 4 times. I do like that. But I don't know if that's just that would be better on the page than in execution.
Yeah.
What I do love is
it's clearly setting up that the master keeps hearing the 4 beats of the drum.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's how David Tennant's going to die. But it's not. It's Bernard Cribbins. And it's just kind of like an incidental moment.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I like the fact that they were like, even if you think you won't figure this out. And I was like, actually, no, that's not the most difficult thing to figure out. Once you knew Bernard Cribbins was in the episode, because once you knew he was the companion for the episode and they were bringing him back especially for the episode, he had to have more of a purpose other than just the fact that he was Donna's granddad.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, I like it's almost like a fan theory that they put into the show in a way. Remember in Sherlock when there was that, after he jumped off the roof at the end of series 2.
Yep.
And then it was just flooded with fan theories about what happened, right? And then they sort of put in a way, a fan theory about Darren Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Coming and doing it. And it's like, clearly this is like a nudge. Because they even had him and Moriarty kiss, didn't they? So,
yes, yeah.
Like pure fan service, like a little in-joke. It almost feels like that with this idea of the 4 knocks being the heartbeat of the Doctor because he has 2 hearts.
Yeah.
That's almost like a fan has come up with that, and they've gone, ooh, that's good. We'll put that in. Jessica Hines bears a fucking uncanny resemblance to her grandmother, doesn't she?
Yeah.
In fairness.
No.
In fairness, they've already done this. Like even Miles, they did that with.
Oh, what is that? It's her ancestor, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
And also, that's not uncommon
either.
for time travel shows to use the same actor playing the ancestor and the offspring. That is the criticism of Doctor Who.
What other time travel show does that?
Well, other ones.
Go on.
I can't think of any, but I've definitely seen that before.
Doctor Who definitely does that.
Okay, yeah. It's not okay. Well, it's not okay.
Okay.
That's it, really. What a shame. What a shame to end on such a bum note.
Yeah. When the Doctor
thumbs down, obviously,
is holding the gun and he's switching between Rassilon and the Master, he's got the trigger pulled. Don't know if you noticed that.
He does. Yeah.
Also,
that completely
we got to the point where
the scene, doesn't it?
We got to the point where the man who absolutely abhors violence holds 2 people at gunpoint.
Right. Here's the thing.
I wonder whether that's deliberate.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
deliberate. I don't know how I feel about that because it's preceded by basically David Tennant and Bernard Cribbins are on a ship having a conversation, and Bernard Cribbins is like, "I've been told. Oh yeah, we should probably discuss the woman, the Time Lord woman. We'll come back to her." We
also stopped doing premises.
Oh yeah, shit! I forgot. David Tennant dies.
Yeah,
that's the episode.
We've been going long enough at this point. Fuck it.
Yeah, but yeah, Bernard Cribbins has been told by this woman who he keeps seeing, and only Bernard Cribbins can see, that he needs to arm himself. So he sort of offers a gun to the Doctor, and the Doctor's like, "Yeah, I never use guns. It's not my MO." And Bernard Cribbins is basically like, "No, you must use it, Doctor. The Master is going to the Master has changed the face of everyone on the planet to look like him. If you kill him, it'll restore everyone. You have to kill the Master." And he gives this not powerful, but he really leans into I insist, Doctor, you have to do this. And David Tennant just goes, "No, I would never do that." So it's reinforcing, even in these dire circumstances, David Tennant will not resort to holding a gun or using a gun. And then immediately after that, he finds out that the Time Lords are returning and he snatches the gun off Bernard Cribbins.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the idea of that scene is we're doubling down on the Doctor's philosophy, so you know exactly who he is and what he is willing to do and what he's not willing to do.
Yeah.
And then the mere mention of the Time Lords are so bad, they're so villainous, that the mere mention of them is enough for the Doctor to corrupt his code.
Well, I think that scene, what it's also doing, right, with Cribbins, it's sort of planting the idea that his pacifism is going to kill him. Right.
There is that as well, yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm watching that scene, I'm thinking, oh, his refusal to be violent is ultimately what's gonna, do him in. But yeah, I get, all right. So when he has the gun and then he shoots the diamond.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. He's using the gun in a non-violent way. But again, it's like within the logic of the show. Is he blue balling the audience that he's going to shoot one of these two people?
Yeah.
Or is he genuinely struggling with who he's going to shoot and then opts for the diamond?
I think it's a genuine struggle.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does seem odd to put them right next to each other, you know?
That's the thing. I was going to say, like, I don't know how I feel about that. Because it's a really nice moment in an episode that's generally not very good. The Doctor refusing to take the gun from Bernard Cribbins. It's actually quite a nice moment because it really feels like, yes, there's the Doctor. And then the fact that they almost immediately go back on that, I completely get it. I know exactly what it's accomplishing, and I think it does accomplish it. But I don't know how I feel about it. The fact that you've set him up as like this pure pacifist, and now you're immediately going back on your word, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't make it didn't have the time. I needed more than a quick reminder before the scene. They should have played with that more.
Yeah.
He has an opportunity to resolve a situation with the gun. He doesn't take it. He has to find a workaround or whatever. And then you have him pick it up at the end for that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it just feels like they're kind of doing their homework of going, right, just remember, you have to know before the scene where he has a gun that's a big deal if he has a gun.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it needed more time to breathe, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wanted to talk about the time travel woman.
Yeah. Who do you think she is?
I don't know.
Because I'll be fucked if the episode told me. I don't think the episode ever says who she is, right?
Nope.
Oh, right, okay. I assumed they were introducing a mystery to be explained later.
Maybe that's what Russell T Davies was doing. Maybe that was his one olive branch to the next showrunner. Yeah. It's like, maybe you'll want to do something with this. But
no. As far as I understand, if you go off most fan theories, the whole point is supposed to be that she's supposed to be his mother.
Right.
The Doctor's mother, yeah?
Yeah. That is supposed to be the Doctor's mother, hence why she's one of the two people that refuses to bring Gallifrey.
Oh, is she actually one of the people who refuses?
Yes, which is why she stands there with her eyes covered.
Yeah, like he says, like you will stand. No, because he says you will stand in their place as the weeping angels of old, or something like that. I thought the implication was that she represents someone who voted against the motion to bring back Gallifrey. I didn't think she actually was one of those people.
No, she's one of the two.
Okay.
Anyway, it's all a crock of shit.
It's bullshit.
It's all, like, honestly.
She's like very important to the story of this episode because she's the person who basically puts the pieces in place. But the show never explains who she is.
And it's a crock of shit.
I genuinely don't know who she is.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
Yeah,
it's not good.
Alternate title?
Right, alternate titles. This one was quite difficult as well. So, same house, new tenant. Yeah, I know. And then... And then...
See, that's better than fucking being John Sim.
No, it's not. Then you've got... He's the 10th Doctor, isn't he?
Yes.
So, top 10. And then my favourite one, based on the decision between Gallifrey and the Master, between a cock and a charred place.
Okay, I like that.
So that's my title for this episode.
Okay.
Thumbs down.
Yeah.
These specials in general, thumbs down.
Yeah.
Minus Waters of Mars.
Yeah.
That's an episode you can watch in. And I feel like if you watch Journey's End, then you watch The Waters of Mars, then you watch like the regeneration scene. You don't bother with the rest of it. You might be all right.
Yeah.
Do you want to do like a fan edit they did with Phantom Menace? Just where that is the specials.
Maybe. Yeah. What did you think of the regeneration? Because they really like give time to it. You know, he goes on his whole reunion tour where you see all of the companions where they are now. He does that thing where he buys Donna a lottery ticket with money that Donna's father gave him.
Yeah.
Which is a really nice gesture. That's like a nice... that's a very doctory thing to do, I think.
It was so annoying by that point.
Oh,
well,
yes.
I mean...
Yeah, but...
Why isn't he concentrating on Africa, you know?
Well, he's doing this for himself,
family
isn't he? He says, I'm going to claim my reward. So the fact that he gets to sort of save his companions one last time. Like he saves Martha and Mickey from the Centauran.
Which they married off.
Yes.
That's racist, isn't it?
Well, let's not think about that. Let's not get into that. Yeah, like he sort of introduces Alonzo to Captain Jack. He does all these different things. And the thing he does for Donna is he buys her a lottery ticket. And then he tells Donna's mother and Bernard Cribbins, the money I used to buy this lottery ticket is from your husband. I don't know what his relation to Bernard Cribbins is. Is he his son-in-law?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Who now?
The Donna's father.
Yeah, his father-in-law.
His father-in-law, yeah. Although, how much of a dick move would it be if they play that lottery ticket and they win like a tenner. Because I feel like it's one thing to like give them a lottery ticket in which none of the numbers match. You could just be like, oh, I don't know, something happened. But the fact that you like win the lowest amount possible, I feel like that's a statement, you know? This is how much I think of you.
I think I would go out, right? I would go out in a yin-yang fashion, in a way that kind of embodies the complexity, the shades of life that God, you know, he gives with one hand, he takes away with the other, all that. What I would do is I would give the winning lottery ticket, but to every companion. And so they all just got like a few grand or whatever. It's like, you know, you get to win the lottery, but so do 10 other people.
Or be like in Bruce Almighty, where everyone in the country wins the lottery. So everyone wins like 50p.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, so what did you think of the regeneration?
Oh, I didn't.
Okay. I remember seeing, I think the idea is they recorded 4 different versions of that regeneration with like increasing levels of emotional intensity.
Right.
So there's a version in which he's just kind of like, oh, I don't want to go. Not as flippant as that, but like, you know, he's just like, oh, this is kind of shit. There's the one that we see.
Yeah.
Where he's kind of teary-eyed and sort of his voice is breaking. And then there's a version where he's like proper crying, like really bawling. It's like, I don't want to go, like freaking out, which obviously they didn't use.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I think it's a product of the fact that they had to rush this like additional character stuff with David Tennant. But yeah, when he's like ranting about having to save Bernard Cribbins, he's like, it's not fair.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I don't want to go. Like, I like being me. This is a tragedy that I'm leaving. It does kind of render him unlikable at possibly the worst time.
It really does, yeah. It feels very petty. It's like, you're the doctor, mate. You should have learnt these lessons. This is...
Yes.
You're 900 years old. Or he is, right? 900 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did feel... I know what they're doing. They were trying to give him like a humanity. Like, oh, you don't expect the doctor to kind of throw his toys out the pram. But it also felt like you're meant to be above this. You're meant to be... kind of
maybe not above it.
An ideal principle.
But it didn't feel like... Because Eccleston... Smith and Capaldi, I would say, all of them, they all feel like they're kind of leaving with dignity. Like they're saying goodbye to the role and to the show through the scene, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Although I can't wait to discuss Matt Smith's regeneration episode.
Oh, we'll get to all of that, yeah. But like Christopher Eccleston saying, you were great and you know what, so was I. Like that's clearly like from the actor as well as the character, you know? And there's like equivalents with Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi as well. But David Tennant doesn't have anything like that.
No.
He's just a moaning little pansy, you know?
It goes out with a whimper, not a bang.
Yeah.
You know, it is a shame. I mean, it feels like a single tear moment, if anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Of like, I'm going to go out with my head held high. Yeah, not this flailing and thrashing, and especially not the doctor that most would consider seminal, you know, like the doctor.
Yes.
They should have... always even wanting more. They shouldn't have done these specials.
Yeah.
No, they shouldn't have.
Alas, they did.
Yeah.
They did do that.
So, on to Series 5.
Yep.
Do you feel at this point now that you're welcoming of the idea of change?
What? That's kind of a big question.
Well, no. I'm obviously talking about... I'm not talking broadly here, Sam. Come on now.
No, I didn't know what you meant. What do you mean?
Well, you've had 4 seasons and a bit now of Russell T Davis's writing.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of time with David Tennant. You've had the show looking the same way basically since it started. Like the title sequence as well. That's the last time you're going to see that title sequence, by the way. Mourn it if you wish. But it's it's all changed from here. Almost like a soft reboot, I would say.
Okay.
The show feels quite different under Stephen Moffat's,
well, I have seen The 11th Hour before, years ago, and my memory of it, it's very distinct from the stuff I've seen so far.
Yes.
I mean, you know, you got to bear in mind that I'm seeing a series a week of this.
Well, that's the thing. It's not... Yes, you haven't been with this for years, but you've seen it in such a short period of time. You're more prone to fatigue, I suppose.
Yeah, okay.
So I think it balances out in that sense.
Fair enough,
know.
but as in, I'm not emotionally invested enough. So when you say, if they're changing everything, it's like, okay, well, I only started a month ago, so they can they can do whatever they want, sort of thing. Fatigue. No, fatigue hasn't set in. With the specials, it did a little bit.
It really set in for me with the specials.
Yeah.
Well, by that point, it's just like, it's not even a full season, so you're like, all right, I just want to get to the next bit now. It feels like stopgap.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. So in that sense, yes. So like, I'm kind of ready for it to be rebooted now.
Yeah.
Like, I slogged my way through those specials. Let's take a breath of fresh air and start again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose I am open to change.
Okay. Is it a thumbs up to the Russell T Davies era? Would you recommend this version of Doctor Who?
Well, Series 1 was a thumbs up.
Yep.
Series 2, I think, was a thumbs sideways.
I think so.
I can't remember. Series 3 is a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Series 4, I think, in total is a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the specials. So, yes, I suppose, broadly speaking, Russell T Davies is a thumbs up. I like the writing for the most part. I mean, there is some stinky stuff in there.
Yes.
But yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's nice to have you on side, even if only for a little bit. Of like, yeah, Doctor Who is broadly a good thing.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Do you want to make a prediction, Eddie, as to how long it's going to take him to be like completely done with this show? Because I guarantee you he'll be done with it before the show's done with him.
Season 6 might do it. Season 7 might do it. But
any of them could do it. I want to know which one you think will do it.
In all honesty, if he gets to 10 and he still hasn't given up, then 11 will do it in about 2 episodes.
Yeah, I don't think he's
I'm not going to give up, actually.
Well, no.
You know, like, I will tediously see this thing through now. Like, I will...
Oh, yeah.
I'll watch all future Doctor Who as well now.
Okay.
That's just how I work with television.
Right.
Whereas this has made me realise just how much I don't really like it anymore.
Right. If you two... Because you're not watching it either now, are you, George?
No. I will watch the Christmas or New Year's, whatever it is that they're doing with the Daleks, but after that, I'm out of it until Jodie Whittaker's gone.
Okay, see, I'll watch it now even when you won't.
Well, you'll have to tell me.
What have you done, Jord? What have you done?
That's going to be interesting.
What have you done? Sam asking us if we've seen the latest Doctor Who. Fuck me.
On that world-shattering note, should we wrap up?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for listening.
Yes.
And we will catch you next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.